knowing that you're using your body, because you say, I'm dancing, what do you do? What are you using when you dance? Your body, right? So the more you know about your body, the better it would be when you apply it to movements. That's what the key is. So we want everybody to take a seat. We're going to relax for a second. You guys were up, running around. Close your eyes. You could do Indian style cross-legged, but what I want you to do, because I'm here to teach you something, not what you're doing. I want to teach you something that you've never heard or never seen before, and if you apply it, you apply it. If not, at least you'll know you'll never have a class like this ever again, because this is my information that I've discovered over time through my injuries that I train people and teach all over the world. So when you do cross-leg, I want you to go the opposite, though. So when you sat down just now and I said sit cross-legged, you sat how you wanted to sit. Like, you didn't say, I'm going to sit crazy. You said, I'm gonna put myself in that position. So if you have right over left, I want you to switch left over right. If your legs are out and you have right leg over left leg, I want you to switch left leg over right leg. And I want you to get in the mindset of understanding that everyone's able to do every single thing everybody else is. As in when Travis said, when you twist, I was talking to Gio about it, everybody should be able to twist equally left and equally right. But if I have everybody stand up and say twist, you're going to twist to what? The dominant side that you believe is your strongest side. Which is a what? Placebo. Right? That's our favorite word. It's a placebo because that's not necessarily true. You just have practiced or used that specific thing. The point of that story is, if you're ready before you get called, the opposite, now you're not put in a position to be vulnerable when someone's like, if Travis was to say everybody has to spin left, now what? Either you trained at home, or you need to know the information that how do I turn left equally turn right? Because you turn right so good, you probably don't realize this is what turns right is. So when you go to turn left, your brain goes, how do I turn left? What do you mean? You've been turning right the whole time. You just got to go the opposite side, but you have to know. That's the piece of information that I hope to give you guys, so when Taylor gives you your classes, you guys are like, okay, I got this hidden piece. I understand what it is. So already with the opposite, you should feel like you already adjusted. What happened? Remember, this is the opposite of what you're doing, so it should make you a little uncomfortable, because when you do something over and over and over again, you're eventually going to get to a point where it's capped off. So everybody, close your eyes, relax. Close your eyes. Take a second. Now remember, you're using muscles to have your head up. So if your head is up, obviously, you're using it. So if you relax your head, it will fall. And remember, this is important for your entire body to realize that when you use a muscle, if you use your neck muscle, you will pick your head up. Exactly. If you contract your neck, your back muscles, you will pick your head up. If you relax, it will fall. That is from the gravity, right? So when they tell you you need to raise your arms or you need to drop under contraction, every single muscle and action and movement in your body comes from a muscle. Knowing how to contract those muscles is going to get you to either the power level you need or the subtle level that you need, depending on how much knowledge and education you put to the movement. Take a deep breath. Exhale. One more time. Deep breath. Exhale. Slowly open your eyes. And what you got to do is reach. Open your eyes and reach up. Reach. Right? So you got reach here. And you guys are dancers, so you guys need the next level of movement, which is reach higher. That's crazy, amazing. I already saw all you guys' hands go up higher, right? So it's two levels of movement. Like you're moving, you do something consciously, and you do something education-wise. So if I say put your arms out, everybody's arms go, okay, well, arms are out. But now we want to reach. Put your arms out. That's the level that we want to eventually get to. You don't have to use it all the time. But we want you to understand that there's another level. One more level. Let me give you another example. Put your arms out in front of you. And squeeze your fist. Squeeze. Now I want you to think about you getting into it and really squeeze it. See, there's a next level. But that's the level you're allowed to get to and tap into when you need the extra strength. Some people don't know where to find the strength from. This is the strength level. mentally, understanding that you have an extra squeeze. Relax your body. This time I'm going to do a little something different. I created a way for you guys to understand the actions. So when I ask you a question, I will go over it first. I will ask you, and then if you know the answer, you can say it out loud, okay? For your body, remember, I'll actually stand up, just because I want you guys to be able to see me. And I need one volunteer. Come on. Yeah, come on. All right, so I'm going to use him as a physical example to get you guys to understand the movement, because you guys see him a lot more, so you'll notice him before me. All right, so like I said over there, what muscle is stand up? Standing up is what muscle? It's your quad muscle. Remember, everything that you don't contract, you lose. So like if we were to not contract our quads, we would fall. So what stands up is quads. Don't forget that. Like, you're standing because you're using your quads. Either you're using them or you're not using them right now. Which means, are you contracting your quads? Probably not, right? So we're using the muscle without using the muscle, which is dangerous for the mind. So when you need to use the muscle and you need to get up, you need to say quad. I'll give you a physical example. Watch. All right, so quads, we're standing. Hamstrings, back. What does hamstrings do then? Hamstrings are down. Hamstrings are down. Hamstrings, down. All the way, yeah, boom. Now if I were to say calves, what would calves do? From here, calves would do what? Roll forward. That's it, that's calf. Like, that's not nothing other than calf. Now what? Quad. Still calf. We release to calf, we come down. So all those little movements that they're like leg up, leg down, but that's a muscle though. It's she's saying and he's saying an action, but it's a muscle that creates that action. That's the key of all the. So flexion, remember, flexion is everything that closes. So and remember, there's an opposite of everything. So if you're flexing one muscle, you're relaxing the opposing muscle. That's important to understand too. So if you have a cramp management 101 is contracting the opposite muscle. So if you have a cramp in the quad, what do? Contract your hamstring. If you have a cramp in your hamstring, contract your quad. I heard some people saying they have cramps, not drinking enough water. Make sure you're drinking water. You should not cramp if you're squeezing a muscle. It's just dehydrated muscle, right? Shoulder, right? So back muscles. Boom, back muscles. Right? Now imagine, if you squeeze your back muscles and you bring your arms forward, because remember, chest and back's two different things. So you should be able to squeeze your back and bring your arms forward. Yeah, and keep that squeeze, right? Slower. Because this is a really deep. Keep your arms. Yeah, keep your arms. Try it. Arm squeeze backwards. Probably better to show you more. Sure. Squeeze back, squeeze. So your arms are connected to your back. So your arms should be able to move forward and your back be squeezed still. It's going to be a deep feeling in your rhomboids. Especially for women, believe it or not, strengthening your back is huge. A lot of women don't strengthen their backs. So this is a great awareness exercise to keep your posture, because a lot of things is posture. So if you're rounded forward, you're here, contract your back. You'll automatically pull it back. So flexion, bicep. What does bicep do? If you squeeze bicep, what happens? It goes in. If we flex triceps, what happens? It goes out. Right? Back, chest. The arms don't squeeze, right? Chest is forward. What gets the arm to squeeze? Bicep. Right? So these are all the actions that you guys are doing. This is what muscles do these. So if you're like, oh, I cannot jump. Well, what is I cannot jump? I cannot jump is a muscle that needs to be contracted to jump higher. Right? So here we go. We're gonna work on the quad right now. So hamstring down. Hamstring. So when I say the muscle, we're gonna do the actions. All right? Hamstring. And you can just look at me if you don't know, but we're learning this. So we're not just hearing me say the muscle and then you're trying to do it. Like, I'm teaching you what the muscle it does. So if you can't go down all the way with your feet flat, the ultimate challenge would be feet together down. This is tight tibialis anteriors. What?
All I heard was, oh, shit.
I'm teaching you. If you cannot go down all the way like that, it's tibialis anterior, which is the only muscle in the front of your body, which is what action? Kicking your foot up. So what does that do? Every day people are doing what? They're walking. They're running. So people who run, they walk, they jump. This is that muscle. So if you already can't be down in that position, then you definitely need to stretch your tibialis anterior, which would be what? So you guys, so when you point your toes, you're lengthening that muscle. So what that means is if you can't go down, you've lengthened it almost weak, not strong. When you do something over and over and over again, it caps off with the strength level. So you can only strengthen something so much before it's injured. And that's something that can get you guys to the next level. Is once you get to the point where you relax a little bit, then you get to the next level. Because a lot of you guys have tight hips and you're just going to keep creating issues. It's not necessarily going to get better unless you stretch it. So hamstrings, we're all down. Now there's two ways to get up. Most of you guys, when you go here, imagine if you're like laying down and you're doing something. There's ways to get up though. There's muscles that are used to get up. So from here, there's two ways to get up with the quad. We can get up subtly and just barely use it. Like that's using your quad, right? You can't go up without contracting that muscle. Or you can use quad and you can get up. I didn't really do anything. All I did was use the muscle compared to not use the muscle. Right? So you can use the muscle. And that's what they say. You got to snap, but you got to vibe. This is where you need to know how that muscle reacts. Yeah, so that's quad. Imagine, so the higher you, quad. Hamstring, quad. Hamstring, quad. Don't forget that because down and up is very, very, very important. You guys do a lot of that. Next thing, after the quads, we'll go hamstring down.
Do our feet have to face straight?
I mean, the straight. Naturally, your body will rest out a little bit, but most people, remember, it's the opposite. So you're always going to do what you're doing every day. You're not going to just say, oh, I'm going to do opposite today. The opposite gets you where you don't get injured. So like if you're always out, always laterally out, eventually your body doesn't grow with something that's lengthened. So you have to loosen the tight part to strengthen the weak part. So it's like, I would go opposite. That's what I do and teach all my pro athletes. Opposite. So if your feet are out, your feet are naturally in. Imagine we're all forward, hands backwards, external rotation. Most people don't stand around like this or they're not. That's the next part of everybody being here. Cold, shunted in, is back out. All right, arms out. Biceps. So when you bring it in, it's biceps. Look, bicep medially rotated goes here. External rotation, bicep. Internal rotation, bicep. Isn't that crazy? I know you guys do those movements. I see you doing the movements. All it is now is you're like, okay, hey, I need, this is that muscle. This is that muscle. You just apply it. Remember, this is deep information that's in your brain that you're not probably going to think about it, but you need to know it because you're using it in your body, and that's the actions of your body, period. Chest. Bicep. Tricep lengthen. So if your arms are down, you're at tricep, no matter what. Arms down, tricep. Arms up or bicep. So honestly, Taylor, you know what's crazy? You probably can make a whole, I'll have to work with that with you. I would love to make a whole routine with just naming out the muscles. Wow. I can make a whole choreograph with just naming the muscles. Like hamstring, quad, calf. Like, I mean, we can, the whole thing with just muscles. I mean, because I'm watching, when y'all watch you guys dance, I'm watching your whole routine. I'm naming out every muscle that you guys are using. I'm naming out the muscles you guys are not using, and I'm like, tightness. So there's a couple of people that I don't know here or haven't realized that, I haven't seen you guys. So, I want to tell you a little bit about anxiety, especially because my son's here. And I see a lot of people, or I hear people say, they're not ready yet. Or, like I was with Joey, and Joey's like, oh, I'm a little nervous. Remember, the nervous is an amazing thing. Like I tell my son all the time, like I'm nervous every time I get on a stage, but it's because I know and I care. Same thing with Taylor. Like we know and we care, so it's like, I'm not nervous because I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm nervous because I'm trying to get you guys the best information where you guys can comprehend it, right? So communication is me just saying jump. But comprehension is me saying jump and you guys are like, okay, I know how to use that. That's why, if you do have any type of anxiety or getting in there, remember, you're allowed to make the mistakes now. You make the mistakes now, and then when you go out there, that's the confidence builder. So you're allowed to get crazy. You're allowed to do anything, right? You're allowed to mess up. This is where you mess up and try your hardest. So try to channel the anxiety, not so much of like, it's a placebo, like not so much of like a negative thing. Anxiety is like a fight or flight reflex with your body to get you to be stronger. So channeling that it's an amazing feeling. Like you get super strong. Like it's not like you're like, oh, I'm nervous, I don't want to do it. You get this information and now you have it to be like, all right, I'm a little bit stronger. Right? So we're going to go all to the right side of the room or left side of the room, whatever side this is. And I want to physically show you guys, and I want you to physically feel, It doesn't matter. You can stand for it if you want. It doesn't matter. I want you guys to physically feel how it is to move. Like I'm going to teach you how to walk different. You're like, oh, somebody's teaching me I wasn't walking right. No, I just want you to consciously be aware of the level of walking. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you walk, which is regular, and I'm going to teach you guys how to walk faster by using your muscles. Simple, right? So we're walking without using our muscle. Remember, contracting the muscle without using the muscle is not a good thing. Which means that if you're like, if you're jumping, but you're not jumping, your body knows that. Your body goes, you're not ready to jump yet. Like, you're not training to jump. So it's like, you almost got, whatever you do for today is not for today, it's for the future. So always remember that. Like, what you do for today. So if nobody calls you today or nobody has you an offer today, it's a thing you did in the past that you slipped on, not today. So today you have to move like it's viral. Like, I was sitting back there thinking, like, you have to dance today, like today is the dance, and like the dance is happening right now. Like, you're on the stage, the medals are up there. That's how you have to dance. Even though we all know that's not it. That's the level you have to train at now. So when you get there, it's way, way, way easier. So that's just something to keep in mind. Walking, right? Without using your muscles, you just walk. Without using the muscle. This is me walking. So most people say, this is walking. Right? Just walking, right? Walk. Now, what muscle does the calf, what is the muscle to walk? It's your calf, right? If you want power, you squeeze. So now if you walked, I'm using my muscles, right? So that's what I want you guys to physically do. I want you to walk and I want you to contract and walk. First line, just walk. Just walk normal. Like, this is how you've been walking your entire life. You've been walking without knowing that your calves are there. Right? Walk, walk. Yeah. This is your normal walk. Like, walk normal. Now, the first line on the way back, I want you to contract, and I want you to really walk now. Like, use your muscles. Don't do anything but squeeze your calves and walk. Go, walk. Walk now. Now we're walking. Now we're walking. No, but imagine in your body, if your brain did anything other than walk normal like you would every single day, it's because that's not normal to you, right? You don't do anything not normal. You're not going to wake up and say, you know what, today, I'm really walking today. Like, you don't do that. You just walk, you're like, all right, man, I'm walking. But remember, you're dancers. So the moves are not the key. It's the movements of the key. So if you walking faster doesn't have anything with you walking outside if you don't want it to. It has to do with if you need to move from here to here. And Travis is like, you only have a split second. You might need to know that the calves help you move. That's the key. The calves. So now we're going to do the next thing. We're going to learn to jump. We're not jump, right? So if you're walking and you jump without everything, you just jump. I mean, you can jump. Jumping without jumping, right? Or you can move and you can jump. I mean, all I do is really just try to use my muscle. That's what I want you guys. I want you to just go and I want you to just hop. Because I see you guys jump. You guys use jumps and turns in your routines. So if you're jumping, are you really jumping? Champions jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, we jump. So like, when you're out here, it's you jump. That's not using no muscles. If you use your muscles, you wouldn't go that high. You go way higher, like by default. First route, let's go. Just walk and just do it with a regular hop. Just give a hop. That's you. That's your hop right there. Ta-da! That's your hop. That's what you've been hopping your whole life. Like a little rabbit. Like a little rabbit. Hop, hop. Now I want you to come back and I want you to know what you're doing. You're using your quads and you're using your calves and now you're jumping. That's the difference of just everyday life. And now you're in here and you're like, listen, you need to know how to jump. Not because you think that, oh, I gotta go jump in the world. You need to know how to jump because in case you need it for the champion, you need to know how to jump.
Just for clarification, quads or like the front of the
Yeah, quads are the front, yeah, quads.
Hamstrings are the back.
Exactly. So hamstrings, if you contract them, you go down. Quads, you go up. And how much you contract it at the level of how much you're putting into it is where you go. Instead of you can do hamstrings so much that you come to the ground. Like, that's just you contracting so much. But then it's contraction or it's gravity relaxation. So you can contract when he says you need to hit it, you can contract when you can stop. But what if you need to melt? Then you just let gravity take it. And you don't have to hit it and hit it. That's like using the muscle, If you're like, oh, you need to flow, then you need to come down, let gravity take it, let gravity come back, let gravity take it, let gravity come back. Like, that's just me letting, but then you can contract. Sure. So we're just getting to the level of, I need to pump in the contraction versus the relaxation. you know what muscle that in your brain, you're like, oh, her body's doing this. No. Her muscles are creating that action that you're like, oh, it's her hamstrings that she's using that I'm not using. That's what it is. But she low-key knows it already, but she cannot stop to say, hey guys, hamstrings. There's a lot going on. So, okay, now we're gonna move 2 or 3 steps, and we're gonna just go in the air, gracefully get in the air. We're going. This is for your finale. This is the end, and everybody's like, how did she even get that high off the ground? All you do is use your muscle. You didn't do anything. You didn't go train. We didn't tell you to go squat 1,000. No. We said you guys got the power already. You're using it. Now we're using it. Couple steps. Move. Walk. Boom.
Quick question. What's the safest way to land from a jump?
Gracefully, not like on the ball of your toes, kind of. I want you to physically get to the next level of jump, where you can feel like, hey, now I get this. This is why I'm using this muscle. And now remember, Now remember, there's 2 ways under gravity, right? You can, in a dance routine, I don't think you have enough time to do that jump. That's all I'm saying. Like the power up for the jump, you might have been backwards at that point. Right? So remember, so when you're walking, what's walking? Your legs. Your arms ain't necessarily walking. Right? So when you jump, you did like you need your whole arm to do a jump. That's like you should be able to walk with your hand in your pocket and jump. You don't need arms. You don't need arms. But so no, that's still so bad if you didn't have no arms.
I think it's the shoes. Yeah. Those shoes, they have like power.
Yeah. Okay, so any questions on walking and jumping before we go to the next one? Walking and jumping is just a part that you obviously are going on a stage, off the stage. What do you do? How do you get on a stage and off the stage? What? Walk, right? So it's like these are things that help you not in your dance routine. It's to help you around the routine. And if you apply some of it, you can put it in the routine. Some people need to jump. I'm telling you, once you understand how to, and you get that high, you be like, that's the next level of like, I got education. All right, so spread back out. All right, so a lot of you guys, some of you guys weren't in the last class, but you guys have, I don't know, I think it's dancers in general with tight hips. I'm not sure. I deal with a lot of athletes, but you guys have tight hips. Like, I don't know, you guys, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel bad for you guys' hips. All right, so remember, everything that I'm teaching you is the opposite. What's up, Joey?
I have like a serious question. So off topic, but it has to do with the back.
Yeah.
So like, how do you say like kind of like squeeze your back?
Yep.
Like, that's what you're
Back and
doing.
down, yep.
So like when I do that, I'm like walking around, like I feel like I'm like, you know what I mean? I feel like I look crazy, but like that's how you're normally supposed to be. But like, why can't I do that?
Because I think
Like I can do it, but I'm like, you look crazy.
Yeah, well, so if I look in the mirror and I put my body back and down, I don't think it goes like this.
Oh. Backing down, not backing back.
Yeah, like it's just,
Down.
yeah, it's not,
Oh,
I'm not like,
that makes sense. I was doing this.
Do it one more time slowly on how it's supposed to be.
yeah, so if your arm, naturally people's arms roll forward. Like you see your arms, so the anatomical position of man, which is crazy because you're so young, I'm telling you, you have to fix your shoulders. Let me explain why. The anatomical position of man is like this. Put it a little bit farther. So let me explain something to you. So if I put you in this position and I tell him to relax, watch what happens. Relax.
It's not something you naturally don't.
Like that's like you walking like this. Would I look weird? You're trying to give me a low 5 on the way back. like no. So natural. And remember, when I say the anatomical position of man, it doesn't mean man. It means human being, which means if everybody's here. So for females, unfortunately, sorry, you guys got boobs, which means
Yep.
So you guys have to correct that in general, as in you have to strengthen your back. That's the biggest thing with females. They don't strengthen their back. They think if you're going to lift back, you're going to be some big buff. No. You need to strengthen the internalness of it, not like build a big trap. You have to put your Your body has to be, and remember, the anatomical position tells you to live the rest of your life healthy without injuring a knee or an elbow or this. That's the position, which means if you're like this and you do some extreme move, you could hurt your shoulder, because your shoulder is not supposed to be, this is technically way extended, like the other way, medial rotation, which means external rotation, which means you, at home, you sleep like this. Ooh. Yeah, like you sleep. I slept with weights in my bed for 2 years.
I do.
Wow. Yeah, I slept with weights because you need someone to pin. You need something to pin this. Technically, if you all lay, that's it. Medial rotation. Everybody, we're laying down. Everybody's laying down like this. Arms back, down. Yeah. Like the fact that you already do that's not bad. Yeah, everybody. You guys are at the age where everybody should be laying flat back.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? If I went over there and pushed on your shoulder and your back, you would definitely feel it. Okay, watch. Look at him real quick. Let me give you an example. Look at him. So you see how his arms aren't even on the ground? That's what I'm saying. So a lot of you guys are, if your arms aren't on the ground, that could, like, I almost have to push this down and push this down. But that probably feels so good. It's stretching. This is stretching. Yeah, it's stretching. But see, this one, look, this one's tighter than this. This one's way tighter. Look. And mine are so bad. Mine probably go like that. Mine don't even hit the floor at all. Zero. But that's a medial rotation. So here. So that's chest. That's breathing. That's all that stuff. It's supposed to, yes. What I'm saying is, you're not going to forget me in about 5 to 10 years. The minute you can't do that as an adult, you're going to be like, I messed up. Like, I didn't stretch. I'm telling you, it happens to all of us. Like, it's not, you don't underdo something and overdo it. You're always going to be here. We're driving, we're drinking, we're on the cell phone. This is all the same exact motion. Everything. Riding a bicycle, pushing a shopping cart. Everything is in front. So if you don't go back, it's gonna catch up here.
So is it bad that we sleep like this?
Absolutely not.
Oh, it's not bad.
No, I have a sleep book in the world. That's one of the positions. Because you gotta remember, everybody's like this.
What do you think?
That's size of it. There's weight.
That's bad. I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep like that. Sleeping in the stomach.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but you need to have comfortable, yeah.
Well, aren't your
That's comfortable to you.
aren't your quads engaged when you're doing that?
Not if you do this.
Really?
Not with a pillow. That's the issue. Yeah, tight restriction.
So doing that and sleeping is bad.
Bad.
That's in my stomach too.
I have a whole man.
Like I cannot fall asleep.
All right. What's up? Next question. Because remember, why? That was a great question. Why does one arm do it and one arm doesn't? It's because we are dominant. You can't. Everyone has a dominant arm. If I were to throw you something, you're gonna catch it with your dominant arm. You don't think about that. Like when I ask you, hey, take this, you're gonna grab it with your dominant. If I say, yo, write something down, what do? You write with your opposite hand? No, I mean like consciously. Like if you're like sign a check for $1 million, you're not signing it with your opposite hand. Like, what do you mean? No, you're signing with your dominant hand because you're comfortable. This is what's comfortable. But remember, what's comfortable is not. When do you hear any champions or people that they're not comfortable? I'm extremely uncomfortable every day. Taylor's extremely uncomfortable every day. So if you're not uncomfortable, it's like, how are you not able to be non-comfortable, but you're trying to get at this level? It doesn't work that way. You got to find the uncomfortableness, put the education, and now you learn it and you go to the next spot. You don't have to be I'm not uncomfortable forever. I'm uncomfortable in a little tiny period till I adjust. Then I'm like, okay. So next is legs. Legs, right? Feet up, knees in. Feet out, knees in. Internal, yeah, internal rotation. For guys, that would be horrible. That's bad.
Oh my God.
So feet down, knees in, feet out. So feet down, keep it, and then feet out, knees in. Yeah, feet out, knees in. Yeah, and eventually your legs should be on the ground. Yeah, like our feet on the ground. So do one at a time. One at a time if you need to. One at a time if you need to. Absolutely. Hips.
Oh my god.
Just like that. For the next 5 years. Let me ask you a question. If you're in constant hips, if you don't do this opposite, it never gets better. So it's not like you have to say, oh, this is too hard, I'm never going to do it again. You're screwed. No, it's that lower pad. That's how tight your quads are. That's how tight you are. Like, if anything is moved, you're supposed to move your body and nothing else moves. Everything's a separate piece that's connected together. So if something's tight, everything else is tight. That's just tight. Just tightness. Remember, your body's not used to what you're doing, so like that's why you're trying to talk to yourself, because your body like, what the heck is actually going on? Why am I feeling this weird thing? That's the key to this weird thing. Yeah, you naturally saying that's all placebo because the body's the same, which means that you just did something over and over and over again, or didn't do something over and over again to create repetitive unequalness by what we do every day. So it could have been your job, it could have been how you slept, what you did as a kid. All of these things adjusted your body in a way to you're like now, like why is it so tight? It's because you did something every single day, like that caused that imbalance, right? Yes.
Well, how do you fit, like, do you just stop doing it?
You gotta strengthen the opposite. You have to strengthen the opposite, which means if you're really tight and strengthen the outside, this is for specifically for guys. Guys don't really go in and work our medial thigh. We just don't. Which means that this is weak. The only way to counter this from injury is to actually go and work that. Like there's no you could work this extra cool at a weird angle to strengthen this. That's not right. That's never gonna happen. So that's why I'm important. That's why Taylor brought me here. Because I'm teaching you something that you're like, wait, I didn't even know that my body was crooked. I didn't even know my body was twisting. That's what I'm trying to get to you. It's like when you go home, the top dancers and the people who they're gonna be doing this. Like if you go home and you're out like this, like you're not it. Like, you're not it. You're gonna get injured eventually because that's external rotation and everyone's always on the external. Like this, like you're already on the external.
Yeah.
For here, like this one's external hip. But let me ask you a question. You didn't go here because this was uncomfortable. Switch it. Go to the other way though. Yeah. I mean, it's just all like your body, your brain is already looking at his body different. He's like, what does this look like or feel like?
Yeah.
That's the key to what I'm helping you. I want you to just be so uncomfortable, you get comfortable. That's the key.
Question: when we're like turning in,
Yeah, your whole body ain't supposed to. That's your hamstring, but remember your femur is connected in there. So when you rotate your femur, you're not just moving your muscle. You're actually physically rotating the whole entire leg. So that's a lot. You guys are just doing this turning out. It's like no, the whole entire femur has to turn in the. So you don't just do this. Like that's not. No, you have to. You're moving the femur. You should feel so much pain. I'm in pain every day. I'm in pain right now. What kind of pain you not trying to have? No, but this is just, remember, this is the resting position. This is when you're home and you're on your phone and this is the opposite of what you would naturally be like in your home. Absolutely, 100%. I'm teaching you something to even you out, not worsen you out. I'm gonna say, hey, I've been watching you guys and you're doing all this every time. But if you just did this, now we're making it where you guys can go longer, healthier, and stronger in the future. Not, man, he's telling me something to undo everything. No, I'm trying to get it where you don't have to undo everything. Because the minute you get injured, you lose a lot of time, energy, and effort. Like when you get injured, and injury doesn't come from you messing up the move. It comes from you not moving your body right, and then you got hurt. It's not like, oh, this move is gonna hurt everybody. No. It didn't hurt everybody. It don't hurt you. It hurt you. Why? Because you didn't know how to do it, or you tried to do something you didn't know how. That's all it is. Education to put you through it easier. Like so, when you're like, oh, she's twisting. I want you to see twisting as what, right? So like for example, you can contract muscles and move your body without moving them. Watch. I'm gonna contract my IT band and my medial thigh. Watch what happens to my body. So you know when people are in there like, I mean, that's what that is. I'm just contracting my muscle. I'm contracting my IT band. I'm contracting my medial thigh. I'm contracting the opposite to go the other way. Contract the opposite to go the other way. I'm not really moving my feet. I'm just contracting the muscle.
Where's your IT man? What's that?
Outside. I don't know.
I know.
That's just a weird. Yeah, it's. I don't know.
On the hip subject, you know how like, well, I don't know, but when you, like sometimes when I stretch, like probably the hip like pops, is that supposed to happen?
I say it pops because the alignment is, that means something is tighter and then something's looser to make the pop to pop. Because normally, no, popping is not good. Like if your hip pops, that means that something is so tight that it's pulling it out of wherever. Because like if you ask, is popping normal? Some people are like, you crazy. I ain't popping nothing. Like, if I start popping a hip, I'm gonna have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to pop no hips. I'm too old for that. Hold on, guys. Hold on. So remember, it's you've built up the tightness. You gotta unbuild the tightness. So it's like in my quote is anything other than nothing is something. Which means if you do not do any of it today, it stays in the 0 column. If you do a little bit today, 5 seconds, it goes in the 1 column. Did you do it today? Yes or no? How many? And then it says, did you do it for 10 hours today or no? No. Did you do it today or no? Like the choreograph. If you did choreograph 1 time before you came in here, you can come in here knowing that you did it 1 time and you got 1 under the belt of. If Taylor walks up and said, if you didn't do it not 1 time or didn't even try 1 part of the move, you have to say no, or you're a liar. You know, you want to be a liar. So it's like, if you know that you need to do it before you come in here, you want to be prepared when she says, did you do this? Even if you did 1 step, you're like, that's it. I did it. Yes, I did. I did 1 little piece of that choreograph today. Who's lying? You're not lying. You did. You tried. You tried. You got 1 in a little tiny piece compared to 0. So the 0 is what we're trying to get rid of when it comes to what you do in your body. So if you always spin to the right, if I asked you, how many times did you spin to the left? If the answer is 0, we have a problem. Like if you did that whole choreograph every time Travis said jump or spin and you spin the same exact way, I have to ask you why. Did your body not spin the other way, or you what? You don't know how to spin the other way, or now we're getting to why you need to know your body of how to spin, or why, because you can't spin right all the time. If Travis goes, hey, we're spinning left this time, in you guys' brain, you're gonna be like, oh fuck, oh dang, I didn't even know how. Oh man, spin left, oh dang, spin left. What's up?
Question. So these exercises and different stretches and stuff.
No, that's the new standard of life. When you go home, this is the way you are in. If you're not, I'm letting you know, you don't get stronger. I'm not giving you an option. I'm telling you, this is the new standard from what I see you guys doing. I know what you do. A lot of you guys right now are still in external rotation. Feet cross external, that leg's external, that one's external. So you have to catch yourself. Not about me catching you. You have to tell yourself, I want to get bigger, faster, stronger. There's only one way to do that, and it's not repeatedly the same muscle. Because you're going to use the muscle again today, right? And tomorrow, and the next day. But what about the other piece? What about the other side? Even if you went home and you decided to spin at home the other way, that would make you so much more valuable to yourself when you came in here and knew you could spin both ways. It's valuable, like the information of the movements.
So,
Yeah. And
I
watch
guess
this.
the question was, especially like, you remember, if I'm supposed to turn in.
As much as you can, yes. Toes in. If your feet are out, toes need to go in.
What's a help?
So everybody stand up and we're going to put our toes together. Try to connect your toes. This should cramp some of you guys. For sure.
God damn.
I have a broken femur and a knee replacement, so I'm not hearing you guys not able to turn your knees in. That means you have tight hips, which that's on you guys still.
What's a healthy amount to keep doing that?
When you're on your phone, you're playing Xbox, this is how you're chilling. When you're in the line, you're in the store, this is how you are. No one asks me questions. I got records, world records. You're not going to ask me why my feet are turned in.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, you turn your feet in.
How do you, like, I know when you turn out, like, you can protect your knees and, like, your glutes, but, like, how do you protect your knees in a shape like this?
Because you're not bending. You're not bending. And remember, your knee always goes over your second toe. So remember, listen up. When you're squatting, your knee, as long as your knee is over your second toe, it doesn't matter if it's in or out, because I can still bend my knee and be over my second toe. Right? So it's not like I'm doing this and I'm pushing my knee that way.
what if you're doing the stretch when you're laying down? You know how you turn it?
Absolutely.
Where, like, because that, like, torques my knee a little bit.
You're tight.
Just
So less.
yeah.
A little less, that's all. It's a little less. And remember, it's actually really good to have a partner when you stretch, because I did when you push down and you can contract and you push down. So remember, it's not about creating pain. It's about getting to right before. It's like it feels so good. It hurts so good. That's what you're looking for when it's like it hurts so good. That's the yeah, it's crazy, right?
I know, I'm like trying to crank. Are we in plie?
Nah, you're just standing. In here, plie, you probably put your knees together, which that isn't really. Yeah, you're supposed to go.
Extending my legs.
Yeah. You feeling your hips, right?
No.
So if I do this,
It's your IT band. If your knees hurt, it's your IT band. Which remember, IT band is walking, running, and jumping. Which is IT band is what? The outside. So the question is, where's the inside? For guys, imagine you have a knee problem. Guys, I have a knee. See, for me, we don't work our knee to die. What I mean is, if you put something here, you squeeze, within 30 seconds, we're already on fire. Because we don't do that. Guys don't work our inside of our legs. Just what we gotta do, right?
Feeling it in our hips.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel it in your hips. Absolutely. Turn.
So when we're standing like this, I'm like really bow-legged. So like, am I supposed to be like this?
Doesn't matter.
No.
She's hyperextended. Yeah, but remember, every 7.9 billion different people. As long as you're not in pain and you're able to turn your knees in, and you're not in any pain, that's just like someone being double jointed and they can like move their elbow out or something. It's like that's not specific to a person. That's just as long as you're not in pain, you still should be able to put your knees all the way in, no matter what you're yeah. I know you guys' hips are tight. That's what the point of this is. It's not like you're gonna do it and everyone's gonna be good. No. I did this so you guys can feel how tight you are. A little less. Just turn your feet in a little less. Yeah, so once you get to the point where there's no pain, and then eventually, next week, you're like, okay, I need a little more. Remember, this is not overnight. We're not wizards. You took however many years to dance tightness. You have to understand that. That's why it's so important that I caught you now. Imagine, I talk to these people that are 34 years old. They are screwed. I'm like, yo, you did 30 years of that. There's no way you'll get to 60 by the time you want to. No. Let's do it where if you're already loosening what you're tightening, you're just going to be super strong for a long time. That's the key. That's really what the importance of me talking to you is, not to get you to dance better. It's to get you to understand your body so you can do the movements better. So if you want to dance, you can dance. If you want to jump, you can jump. If you want to do this, you can do that. But you just have to move your body no matter what. Like, no matter what. Somebody have a question? Yeah, use quads and legs. Remember, this is if you're twisting, it's all this is tight. That means if you're here, this is locked short, like it's pulling. So what makes you think that if you put your leg like this, that this is not going to hurt? This is supposed to be all tight and short, and then you lengthen it. Yeah, you're gonna feel ping, ding, boom, bings. Like you're gonna feel all kind of things in here. But remember, you have to mentally get past that. So you can adjust. If you do this and you say, that's it. Like, that's not, remember, it's a placebo. You have to convince yourself that what I'm telling you is to get you stronger, not that he's trying to snap my legs. No, I'm not. I'm trying to snap your legs. Placebo, yes. So go a little less, and it's quads, tight quads. So let me ask you a question. You also should not be able to put your feet together and come down. Exactly. See, so that's the equivalent to that, though. That's what that does. So if you're having problems like this, you have the same problem, right? See, so the problem with the knees is the problem with the quads. Yeah. So it's like.
Can a toe lift? Because that's my toe. At least my big toe.
Let me toe lift. Yeah, that's good. Do it now with lifting your toes is kind of hard. That's kind of hard.
It's kind of hard. So sorry.
To me, that's unsatisfactory. Like I'm sad at your parents. I'm sad at people that say, "Yo, you don't want to fix." Like, as in, I would think that no one cared to tell you that you're gonna ruin your body. Like if I was looking at you like, "Dang, like that's not good." Like that, you're not gonna convince me that you can't stand up or move down without moving your legs out. Like that to me is like, "Oh my gosh, who hurt you?"
Who hurt you?
Do you stretch every day? No, like that's a serious question. Like, do you personally actually?
Absolutely. I remember, but besides stretching, there is a proper way. So the proper way, the resting, remember the anatomical position of man.
Right.
So that's just as important as stretching. If you're like this all day, that's why you have to stretch. You just did the opposite of what your body's supposed to do. So if you, yeah, and so it's not natural. Why? Because everything we've created as a person is what? Like this. Like if I were to grab something, look, what happens to my hand, my body? It's not like I don't do this.
But you should do that, is what you're saying.
I mean, technically, you would. That's not how society have created things, right? They just didn't create it that way. Why? Because no one cared about how the body operates versus the thing we do. That's the reason why it's important to know the information. Dancing is not natural. Dancing is something we created as a person to express, which means that you can hurt yourself by using your body and not knowing how to use your body doing a movement. Like you said, you roll an ankle. Yeah, we can get on our tippy toes, but you can roll an ankle if you don't know how to do that. Like your body's not made to be on your tippy toes like that. So when you guys are doing these movements, it's like the minute that you understand what action does that, you don't have to hurt yourself. You know it's calf. Calf. That's calf. Like you say calf and you do calf. Like take calf. Bicep.
That's crazy.
Tricep. Hamstring. Quad. Yeah, we're going to do a sign. We're going to do a guru says right now, and I'm going to call out the muscles, and the last one, they'll get something good for me. Absolutely. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say guru says, and I'm going to say the muscle, and you create the action. Once you do not create the action, you're out. And we're going to see who has the best education and knowledge of the body. And then I want to answer questions of why actions or what actions. You ready?
Can we get a run through real quick of which muscles?
I mean, I'll give an example. I'll give an example up here. But I want you guys, remember, it's not about me trying to say you guys, no. I wanted to make it fun enough that you connect it, that you're like, oh man, I remember that because that was goofy or that was funny. Like that's what this is about. It's about me just trying to teach you a way where you're not like, this is boring. Right? So I created Simon Says into Guru Says, right? So it's a clever thing, right? So Guru says hamstrings. Right? Guru says calves. So whoever stood up is contracting their quads.
Well,
We are still in hamstring and calf right now. Hamstring and calf.
I thought you meant we could create.
Here we go. No, quad. We're still on quad. Our heels are not on the floor. We're still on calf and quad now. Triceps. Biceps. Chest. So remember, your arms don't go out. Why? Because that's triceps. Biceps. Back. Hamstrings. We're still on our toes. Still on our toes. Right? Calves. If you release your calves, what happened? Boom, you fall down. We're still in hamstring though. Right? We're still in triceps. Everybody's arms are out. We're in triceps. Chest. Back. Oh, that's a weird one, right? You might have to open that up a little bit to get a why.
We can open it up.
I mean, because that's kind of hard.
We can open up our legs.
But head up though. You should be looking at me though. You can't be doing this. Yeah. That's a good one.
Are we still on our toes?
Nah, you're flat. You can be flat.
When did you tell us to go flat?
Flat. Your shin bones are screaming. All right, quads. Hamstrings. But now really quads. That's quads. Right? So we got hamstring under gravity, hamstring under contraction. Hamstring under gravity is what? Letting it go. Because gravity's pushing you down no matter what. Hamstring under contraction is how much you want to contract. A little bit. A little bit more. A little bit more. That I'm controlling the contraction. If I let gravity just take it, it's done. I'm gone. If I let gravity take my whole entire body, well, I might as well just lay down. Because gravity picks you down. Remember, so when you're on the ground or you're getting up, you're fighting what? Atmospheric pressure, i.e. gravity. There's 200 people on top of your head right now that's keeping you on the ground. If you don't see it like that, so when you jump up, you're going to come back down. So it's very important to understand that if you're up and you're erect, you're using muscles. Right now, we're using our quads no matter what. So when you're like, oh, my quads are tight. But why though, right? We're using them every day. We're using them all the time. Chronically quads. So when you're relaxing, you got to relax the quad, go hamstring. So your hamstring is how you release. The opposite muscle when you contract it is how you release it. So if you're like, oh, this is tight, my hips are tight, you got to go the opposite. That loosens the hip. That's the only way to do this. So it's not like I'm like, It's not like you're like, oh, my hips are tight. I'm going to stretch my arm out. Like, no, you have to stretch. And remember, you're only having to stretch to counter what? The daily activity without consciously understanding that you're doing the same thing every single day. That's the key. You can't do the same thing every single day and not adjust at least to relax it a little bit and try to get to the next level. Of course, like we're saying, oh, we dance every day because we're getting better. That's true. But you're dancing every day doing what? You're getting new what? Choreograph. You're not dancing the same exact dance every single time. Which means that you are micro-adjusting in your body every single dance. Which means every single dance you need to know a different piece of what you're using. It's not the same muscle. You're not coming in here saying, I'm using my quad every day. Sometimes you're rolling, sometimes you're... Travis is like, sometimes you're popping, sometimes you're holding. All of that has to do with what muscles contracted when, under contraction or under gravity. Always. No matter what. Okay, so we're going to go on the opposite leg. Everybody on their opposite leg. So if you're right-handed, go on your left leg. If you're left-handed, go on your right leg. Just on one leg. Remember, if your foot is in front of your body, contraction of the core. Your core is what brings your foot forward. Quad and core. If you contract your glute, your leg goes back. So most people, when they're standing here, they don't understand. You're not contracting no glute. That's the opposite. The glute is back. Quad is forward. Glute is back. This is important when you need to know to swing your leg. You're like, how do I swing my leg backwards?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you do a Webster pretty much. If you swing it hard enough, you should be able to go all the way. Right? So it's like, that's the contraction, right? There's contraction under letting it swing with gravity, or there's a contraction. You can pull it backwards. Remember, when you're standing on one leg, you need to contract this glute. This glute keeps you on the floor.
Is that like...
So you should be able to move, and nothing goes nowhere.
When you say your glute, are you squeezing your cheek?
Absolutely. Cheek. Flamingo. Absolutely. So stand on one leg, the opposite leg. That was my right leg that I'm saying. I'm left-handed.
I'm left-handed.
Opposite leg.
What if
Yeah.
you feel stronger on one, but you are like left?
That's everybody, though. You'll always feel stronger on one, so that's the opposite. We want to get you where you do the opposite. See, I'm left-handed. I focus on my opposite, so I'm super good on my opposite side. Yeah, so as long as that's contracted, you should be able to move.
When I stand on one leg for like not even that long, the arch of my foot curves.
Oh.
I don't know. It shouldn't be burning. Nothing should be burning. You got to remember what you do. If you haven't done this before, when you do it, your body has to register. Like you have to register. So if it's like a ping, a ding, a boom, your body is like, it's because like you haven't felt this before. You're not walking every day saying, man, my legs hurt. You're only saying, oh, this hurts or this feels weird when you do something that you haven't done before. You don't wake up and say, man, my arch of my feet hurt. You don't wake up and say that, right? You did something just now that made that hurt, which means that's where you focus. That's personal. All this is personal. Like when you go home and you're like, man, in class, man, I don't know, that other person didn't have that problem, but I had that problem. That's a personal problem. Like not everybody has every issue that everybody else has. So it's this very personal in a group class setting because you guys are all cohesive when you dance. So it's like, imagine if you all understood the importance of how your body operates. Like the last class, like if you guys are all supposed to walk forward, imagine if some people are laterally out, some people are immediately in. When Taylor says or Travis says walk forward, it's not cohesiveness. It's not everybody stepping forward at the same time. Everybody has a different gait, a different pattern, but together, at least you know if everybody knows how to, like imagine if everybody you know, like in the group, if Taylor could go hamstrings and everybody goes down and she goes quads and everybody goes up at the same time. I promise you, people are not around they're not doing that. I could go into any dance group out there and be like, quads. They're all going to look at me like, what did I just say? But imagine if you walk up to somebody, you're like, hamstring, quad, and they all do that, you can be like, yo, what just happened? How did all 10 of those people go down and up at the same exact time? Like really high? Like not just jump a little bit, because you know the difference between using your muscle and using your muscle, right? You can use it or you can contract it. And that's with everything. When I watch some of you guys do the moves, it's like some of you guys seem like you don't know how to fully contract the muscle. And that to me is where the Pizzazz comes from, or the lock. Remember, the lock is a muscle that does that. It's a muscle that does that. It's just your body, you're throwing your body around mentally, but a physical muscle is creating that exact action. And if you get stuck on a move, as soon as you know what it takes, why is that not easy? Is that not easy? To go down, you go hamstring, quads, you know this? Calves. So when she's like, oh, we're going to go in this move. If you look at her body and her leg, you know she's using her calf. Then you say, okay, calf. So it's a split second of, oh, how do we get that twist? Oh, because you can already see what muscle to contract before you're spinning. If you're spinning trying to figure out what's going on, that's a split second that Travis she's like, you might not have time for that. We're trying to carry it where you're like, oh, I got time for that because I already know how to do it. I can see what she's doing. I can say, calves, hamstring, quads, all right, twist, external rotation, boom. Like, that's the move. Now you just do it. It's a routine for you guys, but she's doing a specific action with her body that I hear some people say, oh, we're watching her, but we don't know what she's doing. Like, we don't know how she's feeling. Her muscles will tell you exactly what actions, and you put your own feeling into it. You're never going to be able to mimic Taylor. You're never going to be able to mimic me. It doesn't work that way, which you shouldn't try to. Everyone should be an individual that you come into the group and then you train as a team. Knowing together. Super, super, super important, knowing together. All right, so one leg opposite. You guys did that, right? Opposite leg. Opposite leg, now go on toe. Opposite leg on toe. You should be able to look forward still. You should be able to do, yeah, it's just, remember, it should be hard. It should be hard. Because you're not used to standing on your opposite leg on a tippy toe. Like, when do you do that? If I asked you personally, when's the last time you went on the opposite leg on a tippy toe, it should be just as much as you did the other one.
Even when it's together, like, when you're on the tippy toes together.
Remember, leg is forward. Remember, if you pick your foot up and it's hanging, it's what? Hamstring. You're contracting hamstring. If your foot goes out, it's what? It's quad. Hamstring. That's important to know. If your leg goes out and you need to pull the leg back, hamstring. That just makes your leg fall. Hamstring and quad. So when you're doing the action, it's like, I'm supposed to put my leg out. But that right there is, if I could get you to understand what muscle, then you get to strengthen those muscles. Imagine if you're like, oh, I'm a little weak on this. You just strengthen that muscle, and then at least you can track it to where, like, oh man, I can't get the whole move down. It's like, no. You only need one piece of the move. And it's that muscle that's creating the action for the move. Any questions on the movement? Any questions on the one leg? Of the opposite of why we need to be on the opposite leg? No, good. Because it's pretty self-explanatory. You have to undo what you're doing every single day, or you don't grow. Or you get injured, and we don't want injury. Like, injury is like the least thing that you want when it comes to dance. Like, you use your body, you can't have any injuries, period, no matter what. You can go down if you want. I appreciate you, dude. Thanks.
Come on down.
All right, I had some questions that I had over here. Is there any questions in general besides what I just did that you're like, hey, I need to know this about my body? Is there any kind of, besides like so much pain, right? Because your pain comes from not evenness. What's up?
But what are some, because as I'm doing this on my toes are like firm. So, you know what I'm saying? What are like some correct stretches for you?
Hydrotherapy, I think, is going to be good for you guys. When you guys go home, it's definitely, I don't know if you guys know what hydrotherapy is. It's hot and cold treatment. Water is an abundant source that you can always use. You cool it down and you heat it up. That's honestly the quickest, fastest, easiest way to undo the tightness and the soreness. So I would say when you go home to Taylor's, you get an ice bucket of water, and that's it. You put your feet in that bucket of water. 30 seconds, cold, pain, and numbness. So it's 30 seconds cold, 30 seconds pain, 30 seconds numbness, and by then you'll be good.
That loses a cramp.
Absolutely. Remember, you're cramping because you're either tight or dehydrated. Like, those are the only reasons why you cramp. Or you're contracting it way too tight, which unless you're doing that, you're dehydrated. Because you should be able to squeeze as tight as you can, and there should be no cramps. Like, there should be no cramps. You get hydration. Absolutely. Yeah. Internal will help you not hyperextend that and re-strengthen it. Remember, because you don't want something too loose and something too weak. Or something too tight. It's the opposite. You have to we're trying to even out. Like, it's called homeostasis. Complete in your body. Like, if you're trying to even out. So, like, if you use your right hand all day, you're trying to lose your left hand. If you lose left hand all day, you're trying to use your right hand. Remember, you're not undoing nothing. You're just evening it out. You have to be strong all throughout your whole entire body. It can't just be one leg is strong. Because what if that one leg goes out? Now you can't even do what you're doing anymore, which is not a valuable thought. Like, definitely. Any other questions? What's up, man?
is, I'm trying to understand, like, so you're saying that, like, the anatomy of man is, like, designed in a way that's uncomfortable for us day to day?
Absolutely not. It's uncomfortable now from what we get as man.
Okay,
So when human beings, and they did like all the studies on the science of like how your bones, your ligaments, and your joints need to be as far as your life, that's before the car, before all that. Like we designed a car and did that to ourselves.
All components of our lives are designed in a way that's unnatural.
Absolutely, which is sucky to just think about because
So I'm trying to understand, like, perhaps it's so hard for me to fathom that because as a child we've been conditioned to exist in a way that's like this rather than like this.
yeah, because drawing or coloring and everything's like this.
Right.
We don't draw like this or color like that.
So with that being said, if we're to do things that are more appropriated to our natural anatomy, would we be more effective in those
Absolutely.
things?
Yeah, we wouldn't have no pains. You have no
Okay.
pains. That's why my manuals and my books, my 8 books that I've created, are on the opposite.
Right.
Like, so I could get professional athletes to throw faster by just throwing with their opposite hand for 1 week.
Sure.
So it's like, yo, you throw all day with one arm. You go 1 week throwing the other arm, now everything gets equal, and now you get grateful. You're not injured no more. It's like, so for everyone here, it's like if you always, like for handstands, because I have a world record for handstands on a self-built tower, highest handstand in the world. But when people handstand, they kick up with the same leg. It's like, yo, you can't do that. Like, you can't do this every single time. Like, what about this leg, right? Like, so you have to do both. Like, so my way to how to get you guys farther is saying, hey, I see you all spin to the left every time.
Sure.
The person that spins to the left and the right, they're the champions. That's it. Like, you're not going to counter that person that's doing the extra mile after, like the full body, right? You could go half, 50%. This is only 50%. Like, you have to go the other way. And that separates you can tell the education level and the separation. Like,
Right.
you can call people out and say, hey, spin left, spin right. You can watch them all day long fail to the weak side, to the weak side.
The weak side, right.
And you're like, dang, I don't even know you, but I know you don't do that.
Does increasing your proficiency in your weaker side ultimately increase your proficiency on your stronger side as well?
Absolutely. Because there's 2 things. One, it makes you grateful.
Right.
Imagine how ungrateful you get because you're just using your body all the time. You're just so ungrateful. You don't even realize how strong you are until you unstrengthen yourself. That's why I tell people to tie their knees together. So if you're trying to handstand or you're trying to do something, tie your knees together. Now handstand. I promise you, your body's going to have to work harder and you're going to be so grateful when you have your legs.
Yeah.
You're going to undo your legs, you're like, oh man, I got legs. Yeah, because you never took your legs away.
Sure.
Take your legs away. Or like take your arms away. Like that's what I do. Stand on both legs, close your eyes. You see? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? Put your arms in the air. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Put your arms in the air. Weird stuff like this. Like stuff that when do you do this? All right, now go half squat. Eyes closed still, but now half squat. Right? And now it's like, okay, half squat. Now stay in the squat position. Now go into 360. Like that's not rocket science, right? Like we're not doing nothing that human beings can't do or shouldn't be able to do.
But it's a different approach.
It's a different approach. You become grateful. Like that's really what it is. You become powerful because we get complacency kills. You get complacent.
Sure.
If you keep turning to the right, you already told yourself you can turn to the right. That's it. You convinced yourself already. Placebo yourself. Your right's your favorite. That's not true. Your left could be your favorite. You just don't turn left.
Right.
Like how do you know that if you don't keep going and keep trying? So it's like I would challenge you guys to do the choreograph the opposite.
Yes.
What's it gonna do? You're gonna unknow it? You're gonna unlearn it? No, it's still the choreograph. It's just with your opposite arm going up instead of the left. You're going with the right. But that's a self challenge.
But like naturally, what you just said turns like you said turns. I like
What?
immediately turn to the right side. That's my normal side.
Yeah.
But like why did I just
That's because we don't put ourselves in uncomfortable positions. Your body will always put yourself in a position other than pain. You'll always go for pleasure over pain.
Yeah.
Period. So like so you're not gonna put if Taylor's putting you on blast out here, the last thing in your mind is to say, you know what, I'm doing opposite. I'm doing Taylor's type, I'm gonna do the opposite. You're not doing that. You're gonna freak out. That'll freak you out even more. To try to even think that I'm gonna naturally do she's going left, I'm gonna go right. Yeah, right. That's gonna freak you all out. So you won't do it though. And then guess what happens? Then you do it the regular way and you still can't do it and you say what? Right? So it's like, but what if you did it the whole time opposite and then you did it right the one time, and you're like, yeah, okay, well, fuck, I don't know how to do all that, but I go this way, hella good. You don't know how to go this way at all, but that way you're like, okay, well, this is the way. So it's just becoming grateful in your own body. It's like that. It's just very powerful when you consciously are aware that you didn't think about you even doing the same thing. And I learned that in the Marine Corps. Honestly, once I got in the Marine Corps, in boot camp, I'm left-handed. In boot camp, within the first day, I sat down to go eat, and I'm left-handed. You don't eat with your left hand. Your left hand has to be in your thing. You have to eat with your right. The first week, I didn't eat shit. Like, I can't eat with my right like that fast. My hand don't work like that. I got this one down. This don't work that well. Right? So it's like I had to learn everything. I had to shift everything to be right-handed. That's how I learned that kind of. I broke my dominant femur. I have a world record with my opposite leg.
Wait, so did
Right? So it's like, that's what happened. I got injured. I'm like, wait, I do have both legs, though. I do got two legs.
Right.
They just told me I'm left-handed when I was a kid. You can use both, everything.
Question: when we do the stretch up to the sky, what is being stretched?
Well, it's technically it's your chest, it's your lats, right? It's this muscle.
It's this, okay, because let me
Lats.
tell you about this cramp I got right here. Okay, I don't know where it's coming from or why.
It's all that bread you eat.
Excuse me.
It's all that bread you eat.
I had a couple pieces of
I'm
fruit.
just-
What about that?
We got a bagel. We got. You've been eating breakfast. I've seen you. I'm just saying. You know, like we got some bread in that.
So it just be going over there. Oh, it don't never go to the other side. Okay.
It's your lat. Remember, it's your lats. It's your shoulders. Like, remember, naturally your body don't do that. So, like, if that was like saying you going and like hanging on a pull-up bar, naturally you're not going to do anything natural. Like,
Oh.
both, yeah. But like, I promise you, the rest of the time I'm here, I'm never going to see you sit down and put both your arms in the air like that. You're not going to do that. I haven't seen you do it yet. Like, put both your arms randomly in the air like that. Like, that's like an unnatural thing. Like, when do people do, yo? Or like when you do that, I don't ever see any of you guys just sitting around doing this, trying to touch the ceiling. So that's just something that if you have tight shoulders or you have tight lats, remember everything lengthening is stretching. Lengthening is away from flexion. So if your chest muscle, if you do this to flex it, to stretch it, it's the opposite. So like for here, your lats, if you say this, like when you put your arm up, that's what you're stretching. For if you contract it, it comes here. But what if you want to it's the opposite. You're going the other way. You're lengthening. So lengthening it is stretching it. So remember, if you contract one muscle, the opposing muscle is relaxed. Don't forget that. So if you squeeze your bicep, your tricep is relaxed. And that's cramp management 101. So if you ever get a cramp when you're dancing, understand to contract the opposite muscle to uncramp yourself. You get a cramp in your quad, you contract your hamstring. You get a cramp in your hamstring, you contract your quad. Cramp management 101.
Cramp
When we do
management.
this
Is
stretch,
it
should
true
I-
that bananas work?
Yes.
Should our shoulders be like, should the back feet when we stretch it up?
Oh, that's good range of motion. You want to pull front and backward. But remember, most people, if you put them against the wall, they don't have that range. Most guys don't.
So I'm saying it shouldn't.
And that's, because that's medial rotation. That's from here. The opposite, because most people don't go the opposite. Like, even for like side sleepers, most people sleep on the side here. The position is like this.
Oh.
Not like this. Like this is contraction of the chest chronically, like can't breathe. Like the minute you do this, it swivel backwards. Now your internal rotation, your chest is open, your lungs are open. So there is a way for your body to be under gravity, of course. There is a proper way. So right now, if you're standing, if your feet are out, it should only be slightly out. Slightly out is the anatomical position, man. Or if you want to say, hey, I got tight hips, you need to be in. I had to stand like this for like at least a year when I broke my femur. And I have a knee replacement. So my hips were really tight. And I have sciatica and I have scoliosis. But I corrected all that from doing this.
All day?
Yeah. I got a broken arm, 2 plates, 10 screws, like we're on. I'm injured. But there's no excuses, and I learned my body. So that's why I know all this. I didn't have nobody to complain to, and I didn't want to take any medication. So you have to know your body. Like that's it. Like that's the end of it. What's up, man? Yeah, opposite muscle. A stomach cramp? Oh, man, maybe you're hungry. I mean, stomach cramp, I would say water, man. Water. Flush the system. Could be something you ate. I mean, that's just something that's like very personal, like if your stomach hurts. Like, unless you're contracting it so much or you got hit, I would say if you got an underlying stomach problem, if that happens for more than a week, talk to your doctor. I'm just saying, that's what they have stomach problems for more than a week. You know, it's one of those things where like if you're like, hey man, like this might be a problem, I'm letting you know as a health professional, if it lasts more than a week with a stomach problem, that's a problem. Like your body is not supposed to ache, bing, and hurt like that, period. So if something is hurting, you have to relax it or find out why you're hurting it. 9 times out of 10 is because you're using it over and over and over again. Like people who are dancing with no, like if you told me your ball of your feet or the heel of your feet hurt right now, I'm going to say, of course they do. You're not about to convince me that what you're doing on the ground right now is not affecting your feet. Absolutely. So I expect your feet to hurt, your knees. But remember, hydrotherapy at home, cold, and a Tupperware, hydrotherapy. 30 seconds each time. And then hot, of course. Hot and cold treatments. But don't worry, I'll send you all that stuff. I'll send you all my books. Don't worry about
Go
it.
like 30 seconds
send us all
and
your
out
notes.
and 30 seconds.
Yeah, I will send you the book on that. Because that's like a deep conversation. Like I'm not trying to go the whole time on hydrotherapy. What's up, man?
Why does ice valve so your like why ice?
You said why does ice?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, your body, that's a good question, man, because remember, your body, when you eat food, or we talk about this eating, like I have ate half a slice of pizza in 2 days. That's it. Half a slice of pizza in 2 days.
Y'all slice the pizza.
Why?
Y'all slice.
So I'm
Because I eat to survive, not because remember your body, you need food for your organs to stay warm. Your body, when someone dies, when you touch them, they're like it's cold. No, that's room temperature because there's nothing else burning in your body. You eat food to burn energy. That's why you need food. So ice packs, what it does is it slows down. Like so, that's why when someone goes to like an extreme boxing match or a basketball event, they never take a hot shower after, ever. Because it vasodilates, which means it opens the blood flow to put in the area, which means if you just worked out really hard, you do not want more energy in that area. You want to get cold. Why? What does it do? Cold vasoconstricts. It takes blood away from the area. So that's why, if you're like, oh my gosh, my knee is swollen, the last thing you do is put ice there. The last thing you do is put heat there. Why? Heat puts more blood right there that's already throbbing. You're like hurt. That's why ice pack stops that. It slows down the blood flow from dumping in there and it puts it back in there. So that's why hydrotherapy, hot and cold, is important.
They said that for like swell, like when I sprained my knee, they said it should be like a hot and cold. Like
Absolutely, hot and cold. Because just hot, you'll end up getting a headache. Like if you have a headache, the way to relieve a headache is what? Remember, headache is tension and pressure in your head from what? Blood. How do you get that away? You put cold on your neck and hot on your feet. Because what does hot do? Hot draws the blood to the area. So you're saying, yo, I want you to take the blood from the head and I want you to put the blood to my feet.
Fuck Tylenol.
Absolutely. I don't take none of that shit. Yeah, no meds, dude, no meds. That's not natural. That's a placebo.
That's a placebo.
Yo, meds is a placebo.
Throw them out now, Tamara. All that medicine. But throw it out today.
Well, I mean, no, there is interventions that you do need from medication, from surgeries and stuff. But remember, think about this: if complacency kills, and if you don't know, that's how you don't grow. Which means this: if there was no 911 and there was no hospital, you would have to learn to protect yourself, and you would have to learn how to take care of yourself. The reason why you don't is because you can call somebody. But imagine if we just were all Neanderthals and we lived back in the day. If we had a headache, there is no Tylenol. There is none. You have to figure out why you have a headache. Simple dehydration could be a reason. Simple you using your neck without you knowing you're using your neck. If you're sitting up and your head is up, you are using your muscles. So like maybe you're strained. Maybe you've been straining too much. It's not like your body just all of a sudden said, oh, we need a headache today. That's not how it works. You did something to give your body a headache, because I haven't had a headache in 10 years. I don't even know what a headache feels like. I don't even know what a headache would be. Like, I don't even know what a headache is. Like, I don't have those. I don't have a single headache. But guess what though? I'm not consciously beating up the back of my head and my neck. I'm not. So like, especially with Taylor's class, especially with Travis's class, y'all definitely need to stretch your necks. But y'all be pepping your head. Oh, I can't even do that. I almost broke my neck just now. Y'all be whipping y'all necks like that. So imagine that is an unnatural thing that you need to educate yourself to be able to do it without snapping your own neck. Like if you know that what muscles take to use and to pull, you're not just whipping the shit around like now you throw a cervical off or something. Because some people say their neck hurts because they are whipping it. It's like No, but that's an action. That's not. Like, you're not just moving your shit around. Like you're moving muscles. Like you're contracting. Your biggest muscle in your neck is your SCM, sternocleidomastoid, is the actual name. It's this. When you could grab the side of your neck, this is the muscle. SCM. These are the muscles that turn your neck this way and turn your neck this way. So you contract those. So we're like, oh, I got neck. My neck hurts. My back. Yeah, those muscles. It goes all the way into under your clavicle. Yeah, all the way from here, all the way into your clavicle. If you push your finger in your clavicle, you will feel the end of that muscle. It should be like veins. Like you should feel like ligaments.
What's the proper way to like stretch this? Or
Just stretching that like that. If you do this and you push your hand, it's ridiculous.
right here, just push that.
And remember the trap muscle. Actually, this is really important for headaches. The traps. Most people do this. Oh, my neck hurts. My back hurts. Remember, the trap muscle is a back muscle, which means you don't need to bring it forward. That's the medial rotation that we have a problem. Everybody's doing this. You're bringing it forward. You do is you put your hand like this, and you push it into your trap, and you go back. You go backwards. Your trap is a back muscle, not a forward muscle. So if you're doing this, you're wrong. That's wrong. So wrong. Like, this is horrible. Like, this is like, you're just doing this. And now you want to just open up and just feel good? Don't work that way. Like, even that to me is just like, oh, shit. Too tight. Like, too tight. What's up, Gio? Any more questions? What's up?
So I cracked my back spacing off. Is that like the almost or is that like back?
I say it could be from a chronic holding pattern. I say you created a habit. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean. It's personal, which means you might even just enjoy that. But there's one thing I have to tell you about your spine. Bacteria and disease lays dormant in your spine, which means you do not need to mess with your spine. Like, you already have all the bacteria, disease, the cancers already in your body. Your body already has everything it needs. Whether you onset it or not, it's from the things that you do, the things that you eat, the way your mind is. Mind's a very scary place to be. You want cancer? Think about it every single day. You'll have cancer, I guarantee you. It's one of those things, right? That's just the way it is. Like, you want to be injured? Yes, you are. You want to be strong? Yes, you are. You want to be weak? Yes, you are. All that stuff is true to yourself. You're always right. Whether you say you're right or wrong, you're always right. You can tell me I'm in pain. Yes, you are. I'm not here to convince you that you're not. You got to convince yourself first. Then I can say, okay, you convince yourself you're strong? Now let's go. Not, oh, you convince yourself you're weak? I'll wait. Like, two different things. Like Taylor's not trying to wait for that. Taylor's like, okay, you guys come in here. You already convinced yourself, placebo, that you're the best, you're the strongest, and that's why you're here. That's the end of the story. All the other stuff, out there. Complain, all that stuff's out there. But when you're in here, you've already convinced yourself that you're here, and now you convince yourself what? That you got a class from the guru, so you know your body. Now you convince yourself what? That you used to be super powerful, and that every class should be way more fun and interesting now because you know how to jump.
Oh, it's all a placebo.
Absolutely. What's up, man?
Is it bad that like my kneecaps are like crunch?
Excuse me?
Crunchy kneecaps.
Captain Crunch sounds so good.
Is it when you bend?
Like I get pain and then like
How old are you?
I'm 17.
Yeah, you might have growth pains, growth spurt, right? Growth pains? You might be growing still, dude. And I say honestly, my son got shin splints. He's growing, so it might be your age. You're definitely gonna have to grow. You're gonna have some kind of pain.
I just started growing like this year.
Yeah, so that's probably growing pains. That could be many reasons. What's up? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because remember, their back muscles are connected to your occipital ridge, which is the back of your skull. So if you press your hands on the back of your skull, that is your back muscle. It connects right there. It should hurt. Like, that should be sensitive. Boy, if I come over and push the back of your skull, it should be so sensitive. That's all your muscles that are connected to your back.
What if it's not sensitive?
You gotta work harder. You gotta work harder, because mine is sore. I'm sore. Well, I'm sore. Yeah.
You're a little tight back there, huh?
Absolutely. Mine's hurt.
Mine doesn't.
Hey, remember cross fiber friction and with fiber friction. Remember, your muscles create an action because the way that they're facing. So like your bicep, the muscles, it's ran like this. They're not ran like this. They're ran like this because you shorten them. Same thing with your muscles. So if you put your thumbs on the back of your head, the muscles run up and down. If you go side to side, now you're going against the grain. You're going against your muscle now. This is with it, right? This is with the stroke of the muscle. Which actually feels so good. Go from here, just push. Remember, this is naturally bent, so you're not going to push this too much. You can push this.
My hair's in the way.
Remember, this is what you're doing on the sideline. This is what you're doing, not when you're in the choreograph. Like when you're standing on the sideline, you're like, Travis got me whipping my neck. You're like, all right, Travis, I got you, bro. I'm about to hurt my neck today, bro. Like, not. Because if not, it's like you're like, damn, I wish I had something to protect my neck. That's what this is.
So I like slide and just slide on my knee a lot and my knees a lot. And when I started, it hurt a lot. But I slowly conditioned it over time to be callous and be powerful. And now I can damn near glide on concrete on my knees. But my question is, where's the boundary between, I'm conditioning this thing by slowly abusing it over and over again, versus now it's starting to detriment my body and it's not a good thing. Like where's the awareness of like conditioning versus
the awareness is self, man. Like I bet you me and Taylor have the exact same story. I think we all have that story. Us doing something so good that we're like to the point where it's like, okay, now this is hurting us. I mean, but that's the raw artist that we can't, like, it's like we have to turn that off. If we don't turn that off, we're never stopping.
Yeah, bro.
Like I'm never stopping. I don't think Taylor's ever stopping. Like
I'm not gonna stop gliding on my knees.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where like someone would look at you and it might take 10 minutes, but it's like that Picasso thing. It took you years to get to that level.
Exactly.
So imagine that's the benefit of me catching them now.
Right.
Because I believe that with the information, they won't have that second side of the story. It'd be like I glide on my knees and I was forever glide on these. We wouldn't grow up with that information. We're how old are you?
25.
Yeah, 25. Like I'm 30, 32. So it's like we almost have too much time not knowing.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but only because we work so hard.
Yeah.
I go 10 hours a day every single day. It's almost impossible 20 years later to be like, oh man, damn, 10 hours a day and not telling me no one told me at one time.
Yeah, came a long way, but went the wrong way.
That's it. So it's like, this is what this is. It's like, so when you're like, I want to do this specific move. This information will get you to do a specific move and not end up like us. Like all these athletes, I don't know if you watch sports, but all these athletes are hurting themselves. They're snapping knees left and right. Every game there's an injury.
Yeah.
You guys should not have injuries like that. You guys are getting the information now as a kid that we didn't have. Like no one, imagine Taylor, imagine if someone told you this when you first started. That'd just be, that's to me is a huge benefit. I wish somebody would have told me to learn about the body before I broke everything. Because then I had to break everything to learn about the body. And now I'm like, okay, I don't want nobody to go through this again. So I went through a lot of things so I can ask for questions. Because if you don't ask your doctor or if your parents don't know, who do you ask? That's why you can ask me now. I've spent 10 years on the body. And you can ask me anything you want. I'm going to try to give you the answer. I'm going to find it for you. And I think that's super valuable for people that are doing movement. Right? You're not just doing moves. You're doing movement. Movement. Yeah. Oof. Toes in. Who's still on? Who's still on? Who's still on? Toes in. He's like, I'm good.
I'm on the ground.
It does. Right?
This actually kind of feels good though.
Yeah, it does. It's just tight. It's tight. What's up?
So I have a lot of lower back. Is that supposed to be laying on my sleeve?
No. So remember, your lower back is all connected from the hips. So your lower back, like your femur being in your legs, is your hips. Like that's your hip. So a lot of back pain comes from people's femur in your hip. Because remember, when you twist this, you can feel the bunching. You can feel it shorten and tighten here. That's pulling on the lower back. Remember, your body's one big spider web. That means if you stretch this finger, you're stretching this pinky toe. Don't forget it. It's important, right? It's a fascia. You're one big spider web.
Guys, listen to this.
All right, you guys are. You're one big spider web. Your body. It's fascia under your skin. It's fascia layer that's just connected to every piece of your body. That's why you got to do this. You need to know this before surgeries. You don't want to have a surgery. Then you cut the spider web. If you ever seen a spider web where you can picture it in your brain, if you cut a corner of the web is compromised. And that's the same thing with your body. So if you if you poke the corner of a spider web, what happens to the web? It all draws to that area. So any chronic tightness affects every other piece of your body. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. So if you're not stretching a certain piece or an angle, you're actually detrimenting your whole rest of your body that you don't even think of. If you don't stretch this, you're like, oh, I'm stretching my arm. Nope, you're stretching everything all the way down. So it's anything other than nothing is something with stretching. So whatever you do chronically, like if your arms are right over left, what is that, right over left? Do left over right. It should feel weird. It should almost feel like your arms don't fit. This fits. And then you do this, you're like, all right, where does this one even go? Does that go like this? I don't even think that feels weird. Like you're natural, you go the opposite.
Is this not a good thing either because it promotes this?
Yeah, medial rotation, internal rotation, that's horrible. But I mean, remember, it's not about saying, oh, I can't do this action in my life no more. No. Because that's not practical. You know, like we're always doing movements and actions, but it's like, if you're aware of the action, like it's kind of like this, when you want to get on here, like it's like, if you know how to jump, and if you don't know how to jump, so imagine, there's two ways to jump. You jump with your feet, which means if you pick your foot up, pretend there's a string on your foot. Look how high my foot goes. It only goes up to there, right? With the string on my foot. Now, but imagine if I put the string on my knee. I can do anything, but literally, so when you're looking at this stage and you're thinking, oh man, I can't get up here. No, that doesn't make no sense. Because technically, if I pick my foot up, I'm already on the stage. So that's not, if I can't go from here to here, that makes no sense. Like my leg picked up is already on the stage. Right. So you...
No, I'm tempted to do it now. Like.
Well, no. So it's just, if you look at that, you need to know. The example of that is when you look at it, you know what muscle it takes to get up there. So you don't have to second guess, can you do it or not do it? Because a lot of you guys second guess your ability because you don't know your body or how to use it. You guys can all do that. It's what you placebo yourself to say, I want to do it or not want to do it, or I can or I can't. Because I'm telling you right now, I believe every single one of you guys can jump on the stage. I don't care how high. You're not going to be able to convince me you can't do that. Like you guys do all the dancing and all you do, you got to tell yourself, hey, if you can't jump on that, why are you even doing a sophisticated routine with 30 dance moves in it? You get it? Like, that's simple. So that should be natural compared to you dance. So when you do that, dancing should be easy. You're like, man, this is easy. This guy had me jump on here and I was scared shitless. And now you go dance. This is what I do for a living. I dance. See, complacency kills. So you get uncomplacing yourself. I say you do the choreograph. Next time you learn it, then you close your eyes and do it again. Do the choreo with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
What's it gonna do? It's gonna kill you. It's gonna hurt. You might fall. But it's one of those things where but guess what? When you open your eyes, what happens? You become grateful. You be like, man, I did that whole thing with my eyeballs, and I thought I was suck. And now I'm like, I did it with no eyes, and you probably think you're not doing anything right. You give your eyes back. It's becoming grateful in your body because you guys are already strong. Now it's like, what will make me stronger without exhausting myself or hurting myself? Is the education. What's up?
So if you get an injury and your doctor tells you to rest, should you not rest it?
No. So I'm not saying don't listen to your doctor. What I'm saying is the doctor's intention is for you to come back. So if they tell you to rest and you're not rehabbing, you have to go back to ask another question. And when you go back to ask another question, it's not asking, it costs money to ask a question. So it's they're not telling you to do exactly what you need to do because they don't want you to come back though. That's the problem. I don't ever want to see you again. I'm going to give you the information that you're yo, you're the most strongest, powerful, I'm good. You don't never need me again on a vacation. I don't want you to keep asking me. I don't want you to keep calling me no. I wrote it down in books now. That means I can even give you the books for free. A doctor's not giving you a book on how to help yourself, right? So it's not about not listening to the doctor because you do need to rest. But as far as them telling you exactly how to rest and what to look up, no, that's personal. You can look up information all day while you're resting. You could do healthy hydrotherapy. They're not going to tell you to do hydrotherapy, which is weird. That's a free, abundant thing, but you won't need them no more. And then we see that gets paid. So it's not about not listening to the doctor. It's about the intention of the doctor. Because I'm not trying to bash doctors, because doctors, I couldn't fix my femur by myself, my broken arm. I needed doctors. But as far as the pain meds and them telling me I have to placebo, that's placebo.
I have to placebo.
You don't, if you say you're in pain, that's you. Whether you say you're right or wrong, you're always right. So if you say you're in pain, I just have to agree with you. That don't mean I accept it. I just gotta say, man, that sucks. You think you're in pain because I can show you some people that are in pain with no legs, no arms right now, just got poked in the eyeball. But you're in pain.
That is fucking
Like, that's cool, but you're in pain. Well, no, that's how I humble myself. That's how I'm humble myself with injuries. You got an injury? Well, think about people that got worse injuries, and that should absolutely make you just shush. Like, if you're hungry, okay, think about people who didn't eat today or not going to eat today. You should just shush. Like, it's like you're the only one telling yourself that, and the people around you have to agree or not agree, and then you're labeled as in, like, you're this type of person or that type of person, right? So whatever, I mean, it's a conscious choice to placebo or tell yourself if you're in or you're not, or you're strong or you're not. You're allowed to be anything. You're allowed to use any word in the dictionary. You don't ever have to use certain words in the dictionary if you don't want to. So that's important. So if you want to have a negative mindset or use negative words, that'll be the mindset. You don't have to even hear and entertain any of those words if you don't want to. And that's how I got over my injuries. I'm always in pain. But do I wake up and say I'm always in pain? No, because I'm right. If I tell myself I'm in pain, I'm right. I'm in pain. If you tell yourself you have a headache, I know you guys have done that before. It's like, oh, I'm hungry. Now you get super hungry. So yeah, you just told yourself like you were hungry. And like you don't have to tell yourself that. You can say, I'm full. You didn't tell yourself that though, right? You said I'm hungry. It's like, or you say I'm tired. You don't have to say I'm tired. Yeah, nutrition is huge. What's up?
Because before you were saying about like the cold showers and stuff and like how you ate like a slice of like a half a slice of pizza in 2 days. So if you like eat like a bite and then you take a cold shower, like it'll slow down your metabolism.
Well, I mean, your metabolism will slow down when your body goes into, if you go into like a survival mode, my body doesn't, I know like my exact routine of my body, so I wouldn't correlate food with cold showers. I would just say cold showers is something to vasoconstrict so you don't get so much pain. Like when you leave out of here, I would not go take a hot shower. I would take a cold shower. I would not take a hot shower. That's like your feet and your ankles been beat up this whole time with heat, and you go take a shower, your feet are going to hurt. Like that, you're not going to that's like you got to do. You're doing it to yourself at that point, right? Like you can't be mad or upset at anybody else. That if you do something that hurts yourself, ain't nobody told you go home and shower in a hot shower. That would be me hurting you. I would never tell you that.
That's helping somebody's water.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you that. But remember, you don't do anything to give yourself any pain over pleasure. So you got to convince yourself that you're not doing this to have fun in the shower. You're doing this to have fun tomorrow because you're not going to be hurt. That's like a professional athlete. They do a basketball game. What do you think they do? A boxer does not go and take a hot shower after a fight. His face will be swollen. He takes a cold shower. It slows down the process of healing, which is what? Blood flow, which is what? Swelling. You got to slow that down. If not, they would not. Some people that they don't come out to the post interview because they are screwed. Like their body swells up.
So when do you use heat for like pain?
You use heat with pain when it's something that's not, when it's something that you're trying to relieve pain from, not an injury. So you don't just twist your knee and you put a hot pack. But like you said, if you guys have injuries, then heat promotes. Remember, dilation and it promotes. Heat promotes healing. So remember, when you get a scar, it becomes avascular now. No blood flow. Same thing with women, like stretch marks. No blood flow, which means that your body does not put blood to heal the area, which means you have to promote healing. So that's what heat does. Heat says, hey, you're not healing fast enough, but I have an injury. I need to put blood there. You not just put in blood there. You have to tell your body, hey, I need you to put blood there. How do you do that? Heat. Heat brings the blood to the area. So if you have a headache, you don't put a heat pack on your neck. Now you might have a migraine. Right? So you have to put the heat. Oh, you want to tell the heat, hey, put the heat, all this blood, put it in my feet. That's what you do. Cold on your feet. I mean, hot on your feet, cold on your neck. Because cold constricts, which means it's squeezing all that blood away.
Oh, question. I don't know if you might know this or not, but for women, when like they're going through cramps due to like their cycles, why are they told to use heat? Like what's the difference in that pain versus?
I think heat, because remember, heat promotes healing. So when you have a pain, it's something that's inside the red blood cells that's creating pain. So pain is like a cellular thing, and that you tell yourself it's a mental thing. You're like, oh, I can feel that. But what's happening inside there is something that's in the area, which heat flushes the area. So heat promotes blood flow. So you're wanting to flush the area as much as possible. You don't want whatever's stagnant there, you don't want stagnant. So I would say that's the only reason why to use heat is because you're trying to promote healing. Yeah, if your feet hurt, sit down. So I know you guys' heels probably hurt, but internal rotation is key. Yes.
Can we talk about like nutrition and like overeating and
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
how to not overeat?
Yeah, Taylor just said, okay, so remember, the key of eating, you know, like, is to keep your body alive. Like, you're eating
We
to...
could sit and have a conversation about nutrition. You're welcome, but understand that he already taught you half the things that you're not applying right now, and half of you probably would be kicked out because half of you actually don't give a shit about yourself as much as we do. So shift focus, because usually you're training and sweating your ass off for 8 hours straight, and now you're standing is too tiring. Like, that's bullshit. You're all too tired to stand. I'll remember that. Go ahead.
Well, if you're down, feet inside, knees inside, if you're down. Remember, this is personal, so if you don't do it, Taylor it will all get exposed. It all gets exposed. We already know it before you guys even dance. We already know it. Like, she can already tell who's in.
Isn't it mind blowing that I have you guys stand like this and this is not like natural for you? Like, didn't that just blow your mind? You think I just like do that for fun?
I thought you
What?
lay down. I said I was thinking about that too when we lay
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I was gonna say why.
But I shouldn't have to explain myself.
That's
She's
the-
explaining it for me.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
have to do
well,
that
'cause
yet.
that's the opposite of what we do. That's the reason why she does that like this. This is the everyone's here. Everybody's here. We're all
But I
doing
was
it.
trained like that. You guys weren't. It's a scary generation of people that want to make money. I train you guys to, in a month, not see you again.
Absolutely.
Myself.
I'm not trying to ever see you again.
He's actually trying to not see you again. Your doctor's off. Your other dance teacher's off. Because they want to make money in 2 years off of you.
Yeah, I got 7.9 billion people I need to get this information to. Like, if once you take it, I'm going to the next group. I'm a humanitarian person. This goes for every single person. You, your mama, your grandpa, everybody. Everybody. You can go home and teach your parents this. They don't know. Your grandparents didn't know. You can go tell your doctors. Your doctor don't know. Or they're not going to tell you. And then once you tell them, they're not going to want to work with you no more because you ain't giving them more money. That's how you blackball yourself. But guess what? I'm willing to blackball myself to get you the information to get you better. That's freaking valuable to me, man. I got kicked out of every gym. I have no gym. I have no location, nothing. I had to fly all the way to New York to stand on the stage. That's how valuable my information is. That's ridiculously crazy. I didn't even think about that till just now. It's crazy.
So like people try to silence you?
Absolutely. Because I take money from all the people who don't want to give you education.
He can go into a gym and he's more of a liability than an old woman who doesn't even know.
Yeah,
how to
I can't go. I'm kicked out of everywhere.
But they'll kick him out.
I've got kicked out of every place, everywhere. But it's because I'm a threat. Like, imagine, and that's why she flew me in here, because you guys are gonna become a threat.
I
Like,
don't train you like that. You guys aren't even taking class the way that I expect you to. So how psychotic? Here I am thinking that you guys are the best of all the people that auditioned or want to be here, and you're still sitting on the ground. It's great you stood up. I respect that side.
but if you're down,
Yeah, it's nice. I'll remember that.
remember, it's the opposite of what you do. That's what I'm here to say. It's the opposite, and it's not to undo it. It's to get you stronger. That's what no one's gonna tell you. No one's ever gonna tell you to put your legs like this to be stronger. They won't. Why? Because if you keep your leg like this, you'll be injured, and you're gonna pay somebody money in the future.
This is a respect thing. I hold you guys so accountable, and like, I care so much about you, and you guys think I'm crazy when it's like, I can't breathe, or this isn't, I'm fine. I live good. Like, I will lie to myself. The word tired, the word sore, like, I don't speak like that, and you guys know it. I'm fine. You guys think I'm crazy for that. But I hang out on this level. I'll stand like this all day. But you guys don't give a shit about yourselves as much as I give a shit about you. And that's the problem. So allow them to hold yourselves accountable, but take this information and start applying it at home. Because the people that apply this at home are going to become, they're going to surpass you in 2 seconds.
Yep. Trust me, you don't think
These
it's...
are selfless people that have a shitload of knowledge. You're welcome. So please take this, because you have knowledge that no other dancer has. Do you realize that? Do you realize the knowledge that you just got that no other dancer happens to know? Isn't it mind-blowing that we don't know how to properly stand?
It's crazy. It's a beautiful thought, though, once you know it.
As far as nutrition, I think it's super important that you take this knowledge, because the intake and like the
Yeah, input versus output.
needing to survive. And
Yeah,
like all
input
this
and
is psychotic.
yeah, of course. It's input versus output. It's important, guys. Remember, we eat to survive. We eat to for our bodies to burn, right? So like some of you guys, some of us, we eat so much that our body's processing all day, and now you get lethargic or now you get weaker. So remember, if we were to go back in the day before supermarkets and stuff like that, before you ate, what would you have to do? You have to go get the chicken. You have to go get the eggs. You got to go get all that stuff, right? So when you wake up and you put your body full of stuff that, one, you don't know how it's made, how it's cooked, if it's natural, if it's not natural, besides all the little tiny details that society has given us, the one thing that we can control is when we consume. You have to eat to live, for your bodies to stay warm. But does it say you have to eat all day long for you to live? Mm-mm. We eat because of what? We eat for comfort sometimes. We eat because we're with someone, our family makes dinner. But remember, that's not self. That's all other people's lives trying to influence our life of what we're supposed to be doing. But if you do research on the human body, in America especially, all the meals are too big. All the plates are too big. It's too much. So the key is not what you eat, because food is delicious and you shouldn't have to take away something delicious. It's when you eat. When you eat. Because when you stretch for a certain amount of time, which would be 19 hours, HGH is produced natural in your body, which is human growth hormones. So for the fellas out there, you trying to get big and ripped, like I said, I haven't ate all day. I feel great. Because at 19 hours with no food, natural steroids are produced in your body. You're the strongest you are all day at 19 hours with no food. Does anybody tell you that? Did anybody tell y'all that? Nobody told me that. I had to go so far deep down of like, I almost was like, I accidentally discovered this by being broke. When you're broke, you don't buy food like that. You gotta go a little bit without eating. Then you realize like, well, damn, I still feel great right now. Everybody eating all damn day, and I'm looking better, I'm feeling better, and then you're like, okay, let's discover this. Intermittent fasting, an ancient practice. They got obesity in India? No. They got obesity in Africa?
Skinny as shit.
They got obesity in Chile? No, they don't got that stuff. Why? Because they're moving to get their food and they're not eating all day. We have over 200 restaurants down the street we can eat at all times. So is it the food or is it us? Is it the food or is it us, right? Like, if you ate the same thing I ate, nah. So it's like when we're eating and what we're doing. Input versus output is the key. When you're eating versus when you're doing.
So bulking and cutting is bullshit?
That it depends on how you're bulking and cutting. I can go on a whole thing about that. Yeah, because that's very specific. Yeah, I would go 19 hours with no food, and then you fucking eat, and then you get strong as hell. Yeah. So you lift after 19 hours. It's not like you eat and then go lift. You wait to get strong, then you go, and then guess what? You can eat cupcake, cook. It don't matter about none of that. After you went 19 hours and it blasted your body, you eat whatever you want. So it's not about taking away, oh, I can't eat cupcakes or cookies. No, I'm going to tell you guys now, off the record, I eat McDonald's all the time. But remember, I don't eat it throughout the day. I eat one cheeseburger at 6 o'clock at night after 16 to 19 hours without consuming, but working out for 8 hours. The cheeseburger don't have a chance. Yeah. The cheeseburger is burnt. Like before I even decide to taste it, it's gone. It's gone.
That's right.
So would you recommend 1 meal a day?
Absolutely. But remember, 1 meal a day doesn't say starve yourself. It doesn't say what meal. Right. I eat from 6 to 10. That means from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. I'm eating whatever I want until I cannot consume anymore. 6 bowls of cereal, ice cream. It does not matter. Remember, it doesn't matter what you want to eat. It burns. It's when you want to eat. I got a fucking 24-pack. We're not about to start.
You have a 24-pack?
Give me some of that.
Bring it back.
I have 2 serious questions. 1, so like after a day like today, like you get home, like let's say I get home at like 8:45, 9 o'clock. Like, am I supposed to eat or what am I supposed to eat?
It depends on if you're trying to do something today or you're trying to change your life. Because I mean, we're gonna just go ahead and decide today we're gonna stretch until the rest of the time. It's like, yo, we wasted time today, man. Let's not even come back. Right? So it's like, you got to make this personal decision. When you say, hey, I'm doing this now because I learned something, or I'm going to try it out in what? You have to make that decision. It's personal. You can placebo yourself. Either I need to do this now, or I don't need to do this now. It's your personal decision. It's it. Like, you can't rely on anybody else to even help you make that decision. It's personal. And guess what? The worst thing for everybody else is you leveling up. So the minute that you decide that you're doing that,
Here we go.
There we go.
yeah, the minute that you decide that, now everybody else gets to evaluate you growing and say, why can't I do it, or why didn't I think it? And that's so beyond powerful. It's powerful. Like, I'm on stage. Right, go.
So, like, is it a myth that you get a headache because you don't eat?
Yeah, placebo.
Placebo.
How do you?
Remember, if you say you have a headache, you have one. If you say you don't, you don't. So if you told me, if you didn't never tell me that, I would never know. That came out of your mouth. Because I would never say, if you don't eat, you have a headache.
So does that
I
mean
would
the
never say
blood
that.
is or is not there?
If you have a headache, the blood is. If you have a headache, it's craniosacral is skull bones. It's a cranial rhythm is different from a heartbeat. So like technically, have you ever ran and then you stop and you can feel your head going?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's happening all throughout 24 hours a day. It's your cardiac rhythm. That's deeper than your heartbeat. So I think the question would be is, if you have any kind of pain in an area without using it, if you use it, of course, blood flow, it's going to be painful. But if there's no blood flow in the area, you shouldn't have any pain. Like, the body it's not just stuck in pain. That's not what we were made for. So if you did something that's in pain, that's what you have to track.
No, I'm saying though, if we went, I don't have a headache, does the blood go, all right, you don't.
That's a start. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you can convince yourself of anything. Like, but you also have to be like, I can't just sit here and say, I'm a wizard and no headache, and like that's not practical though. That's not practical. But guess what? A simple cold pack on your neck and hot on your feet. Now you just did something educational to your body that your body's going to register. So absolutely, your headache will go away. But I mean, like even like thinking of headaches. Like, if you tell yourself, I have headaches every day, well, then you might have headaches every day. I tell myself I don't have headaches. I don't have headaches, and it's a placebo. Me telling myself that I don't have headaches and not have headaches is my own lie to myself that I'm convincing myself it's true. It's not true to everybody. It's only true to yourself.
So, can I ask you a question on like bulking and cutting? What is your opinion on like, I guess, pre-workout or like creatine even? Like,
Okay, so I live my life like I'm a Neanderthal.
What does that mean?
That means that if this stuff wasn't able to be here, can you still be healthy, successful, happy, and all of that? The answer is yes, which means if you include something into that routine to say you need this for success, you have told yourself now that you need this to be successful, which is not true. You're telling yourself you need this. That's a placebo, right? It's not true to everybody. Like, that's just but it's not a bad thing. Imagine if you need a placebo yourself for a positive thing. That's fine. But placebo on yourself for a negative thing, that could be detrimental. Like, as in, like, if you take creatine to say you get stronger, creatine has a lot of side effects that's not natural for your body. So, like, you're accepting that you might get stronger, but you also have to accept that you're doing something that's not natural.
Oh, interesting.
Little process.
Back to the food thing. How do you not feel like weak if you don't eat?
That remember, you've built that up. You've built that up.
All lies.
So if you go to India and you say, hey, how weak do you feel? They're like, what? Weak. You get it? So that's your evaluation of not eating of
serious
weakness.
question.
Yeah.
How strong does he look to you? No, go ahead. Lift your shirt. How strong?
Strong.
Yeah, I'm fucking
Lift your
jacked.
shirt.
I'm fucking jacked.
You said
Okay, I
24.
understand. I understand.
I'm trying to count.
That's strength to you
Yeah.
on a half a piece of pizza in 48 hours.
Yeah, like, and I just flew from Vegas. I didn't eat anything. I asked my son.
So like, did you have to get used to it or like at the
Absolutely,
beginning when you were
absolutely.
last
So
night?
exactly. So you feel weak because you're gonna change. And guess what? Most people don't do. They don't change because of that. That simple thing is like, if you're gonna cross this line or
Run
not.
to
That's
comfort.
That's it. Everybody runs to comfort.
The first 3 days are gonna be fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay.
It's horrible. But did you die?
No.
That's it.
He doesn't
That's the end of the question. Did you die? No, you didn't die.
to survive. That's it.
Well, because your body should be focused on other things other than eating. Like, you have 24 hours a day. There's no way we're put on this planet to just think about food all day.
Right.
So if you need to go hunt and work and gather, the food can't be a thought. Like, that's like actually a hinder. You're hindering yourself with the food.
Mm-hmm.
You need to eat and to keep going. You don't need to sit there and
mentally
feast.
Put yourself in his space of like, I am better than what I'm eating.
Yeah, like,
That makes sense.
until
I'm better than that McDonald's.
yeah, until
I'm
6
better
o'clock,
than-
everything has skull and crossbones. Until 6 o'clock. I'm like poison. I can't eat this right now. If I eat this right now, I'm going back. As soon as 6 o'clock happens, it's go time. I'm starving. Yes.
Hold on. you have 24 packs?
A 24 pack is just being funny because it's like you have a lot of abs. You have you have abs all in the side, transverse abs, rectus abdominis. You have a lot of, not just your front 6. You have 8 on each side. You have internal, like you have a lot of core.
Really?
What's up?
And how did you get those?
So like for the 19 hours, are you allowed to drink water?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you drink strictly water? Like, is that all you'll drink?
Remember, we're me and Taylor are at a level now. It's like do as I say, not as I do. So it's like I can do what the fuck I want. I can drink Kool-Aid, but that's because I already have time under tension under what I'm doing. You can't do that. You have to drink water.
Got it.
And then eventually you can get to a point where you don't have to drink it no more. Like, that's just the bottom truth. Like, I can't tell you to do what I'm doing because I have a different lifestyle and, like, it's just different. I know different things to put me in this position. But that's how you do start. Yes, 19 hours with no food. Why no food? Because you're not trying to turn the metabolism on to burn what's inside. What you put in. You want, all day long, my body burns all the fat in my life. Like, if I need to jump right now, it's taking a piece from right here. It's taking a piece from over here. Like, it's not taking my food. It's not taking my food. So then I work out, I build, and I eat, I hibernate like a bear. I sleep, my body repairs itself. It puts the muscle where I worked. So if I'm working biceps all day, when I eat, the muscle goes to repair. It doesn't go, I'm going to eat, and now it's like, you just lethargic. Like, your body's, remember, it's all about chemical receptors, red blood cells. Everything is a synapse in your body. So if you're putting food in your body, you're telling your brain to turn on that digestive system, not put the energy in your muscles. When you need your calf muscle, you don't need your stomach to be working in the stomach. You need all of the blood, all of the power to be in your leg. It can't be in your leg and it's too much. And then you're stressed. Now your mind's not in it, your body's not connected. Now there's this injury. It's just like the focus level, right? Through education. So if you know that if you imagine how good it feels to know that you don't have to eat all day. I'm so stress-free. Taylor kind of stresses me out, asking me if I'm so hungry all the time. You don't eat. It's like, I got my own little program on eating. But if I ate all day long, I would be stressed. I would be stressed trying to find food all the time. Like, I'm not even trying to look for food like that. Like, I'm hungry when I eat. Other than that, we're just going to keep going.
19 hours, no eating.
Yeah.
4 hours, you can eat, then all again 19 hours.
Absolutely, every single day. Yeah, I'm 10 years in.
10 years?
10 years, every single day. Since the Marine Corps.
But, so if I do that, I'll lose weight like that.
Absolutely, you will not only lose weight, you will feel so good, man.
But I'll lose weight.
Absolutely, and guess what though? But guess what? You're gonna gain muscle. So the stuff that you're doing will build muscle then.
Without working out.
Absolutely.
Fuck to feel unhealthy. I just want to be skinny.
Isn't it crazy that he doesn't lift weights?
I don't lift anything. I don't do no lifting. I haven't worked out in 10 years. I get kicked out of gyms. I don't get to work out. I get kicked out.
Naturally.
Are you serious?
No, I do it by contracting. Remember, so you can fold under gravity, or you can fold under contraction.
Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah, so you can fold under, like, so remember, gravity, atmospheric pressure is pushing down. If you relax, you bend. If you relax your legs, you bend. If you relax everything, you bend. But you can also bend by contracting. You can bend by contracting. You don't have to just let it flow. So you can contract. I'll send you the books. And remember, it's very important for the contraction of the core is anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. So there's an ASIS, which is a bone here, and there's a PSIS, which is the back of the bone. If you stick your fingers in your hands on these bones, you should be able to anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. That is your core. If you're tilted like this, you have no core contraction. There's no core. So I have spent the last 10 years,
Oh my God.
I'm here. I'm talking to you normal, and I'm contracted the whole time. I can contract the whole time. My voice don't move. Nothing moves. I'm being normal. Imagine trying to talk and do this. Nobody. Remember, for body posture though, it's hard to do. People cannot. It's very hard to do. It's to be contracted and speak normal.
I don't understand what you're actually doing right now. I don't know.
No, core. Like if you tighten your core, most people are like, or they're like strained, like, you can't talk. Like, no, you should be able to contract still and just be a normal. I've been contracted the whole time. Like, I've been contracted for the last 10 years.
It's probably because I cry.
I got so contracted that I have a hernia right here.
It's that core work.
That's how much core I've used.
You got what?
I got a little hernia right here to split
What
my.
does that mean?
When you split your abs. I mean, what are you gonna do? Overdoing it, right? Like, there's no one's more special than anybody else. Like, you injure things when you overdo it. No one told me the first 10 years that this would do that. I didn't know. Like, I didn't read it in a book that says, oh, if you were just so strong in your core, you might. No, they don't told me that. Nobody told me that, man. So I gotta live with it, right? It doesn't hurt or anything, but it's still something that's like, it develops from overuse of my core. That's how much I've used my core. I've ripped them.
I thought that was genetics.
So would you recommend still going to the gym?
Absolutely. But remember, the gym is a location you convince yourself to be healthy. That's not true. We're healthy right now. We ain't in the gym. We're being healthy right now. We're not in no gym. We did stretching and all. You probably did more stretching here than you do inside of a gym. So it's all about the placebo. You can convince yourself. You can be, your home could be such a sanctuary that could be better than the location.
They're making money off of you because you led yourself to believe that you needed them.
Yeah, and you don't know what you're doing, so now you're hurt. And now you have to go pay for a therapist just because you want to be healthy.
Do you do calisthenics then?
I'm the OG in calisthenics, man. Like, I did that before all those companies. I got 1,000 brands, sponsors. Like, I did it before calisthenics. Calisthenics is the same thing as like you saying that you only do this. That's one thing. I'll combine everything. Everything. You guys can combine everything you want. Yoga, everything. You combine it all. Movement is beautiful. Movies are like, you guys, if you could found out how to combine some, like the B-boy, he combines a little of his B-boy stuff into this dance, right? Like that can, you almost did like a half planche in that one thing with the thing, you know, like that calisthenics move. So, I mean, it's about whether you want to do it's from education. The more you know, the more you want to try and do. That's literally what it is. Like, that's why it's like Taylor and Travis, they have like unlimited moves. You guys probably look at them like they have unlimited moves. And they're just creating the moves like that because they know how to move their body. They're literally creating this like before the class, which is, I don't think you guys realize that.
No, that's
like
insane.
So if they're doing this right here, you'll have to say there's no way y'all can't do it right here. They're literally doing it right here in front of you guys. Like, the 4 times that they did it was the 4 times you guys did it. So it's like, hopefully I can give you guys the knowledge that you're like, all right, they already know it. They don't have time to teach you to do it. That's why they bring me here, to help you, at least so when you spin or move, like you got a little bit more body awareness compared to just flipping your stuff around. Because he does say very specific things, like if you need to move your neck or you need to pop, or he's not saying let gravity fold you, because that's just not how he talks his lingo. But that's what he's deep down saying. He's telling your body to do that. His body's doing this. He's not telling you what his body's doing. He's showing you, and you're supposed to be like, oh, that's what his body's doing. So I have to now fold and contract. He's not going to break it down like there's not enough time.
Any other questions?
So like all of us are a little mind fucked right now.
Yeah, I mean it's a middle. It's
just the beginning.
it definitely is. It's definitely a lot to take in, but we have these on my YouTube channel and stuff, so you guys can always rewatch this if you want to relearn it, because remember, it's personal. Some of you guys already took in the information. It's like, all right, I'm already going to apply all this stuff. Some of you guys, like, it's going to take a week for you to say, wait, you're going to catch yourself in external rotation. You're going to catch yourself, and it's like the minute that you do, that's when the knowledge is applied. Not when I say, oh, if you guys don't know it now, no. It's everything is personal. I'm just trying to give you the knowledge, so I hope that you comprehend it. And when you apply it, I hope that you can feel the power and energy from knowing your body compared to just doing an action. What's up, Dylan?
19 hours? Sorry. No, it's a serious question. The 4 hours that you can eat, does it matter if it's like at night or in the morning? Like, is there a specific time of day?
Whatever you remember, whatever you tell yourself, your body will adjust. So if you tell yourself you want to do this, remember, life is very personal. Like, we're not trying to do somebody else's rules or life. So like, some people got work, some people got jobs, and they can only eat at this and this. No, you just eat accordingly.
So as long as it's like 19 hours and 4 hours.
Yeah, because it's very easy to make an excuse to say I can't do this.
Right.
Like that just takes 2 seconds to say I can't do it. Or it takes me 2 seconds to say I'm done. Like, that's 2 seconds. That takes 2 seconds. It takes a lot more energy and effort to say, okay, I'm going to keep trying to get you guys as much information and try to help you guys. Like, I'm in my brain.
I'm just curious, like, how much sleep you get.
Oh, I sleep like a freaking baby.
What do you think about
9 hours a night, no matter what.
9 hours?
Yeah, I try to go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night, and Taylor's like, we're up till 4 a.m. I'm like, listen, 9 o'clock. I'm an old man. I'm going to sleep.
Also, just like.
But I have a sleep manual. I have a book that teaches people how to sleep correctly under what atmospheric pressure. That's my. I'm going for humanitarian work. That is my
He
word.
sleeps for 9 hours, but you don't know how much he gets done in the other ones. He has a right to sleep for 9 hours.
Oh yeah, no, I'm nonstop balls to the wall.
What do you think about like naps?
I nap every day.
Okay. Because I know some people.
Remember, napping is
they're not
repairing.
good for you.
But remember, you can't nap if you don't have your time. I got 24 hours on my clock. I can do whatever I want.
So in total, how much are you actually sleeping a day? You sleep 9 hours a night, and then that nap. What does that look like?
I sleep at least 2 hours.
2 hours a nap.
A nap?
Absolutely.
That's 11
No, but not. Let me explain something to you. Watch this. I'm gonna blow your mind, because I have 2 days in one day. Let me blow your mind. I wake up at 4:30.
Show your work.
If I'm up, listen. This is 10 years. I'm a Marine, man. 4:30 is nothing. You gotta wake up. I love the sunrise. Whatever. So listen, 4:30. If I stay up till 2 or 12, how many hours is that?
Almost 8.
And I just did a full day. You just woke up. I go to sleep for 2 hours and I wake up and I have another day. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning at 2. And I'm like, oh shit, we gotta do the gym again. We gotta do everything again. Everything I go get. That's 2 a days. That's considered 2 a days. 2 a days.
Because you just slept.
Absolutely. I sleep and I restart the whole damn day. I work, I do what I gotta do. I do my business and I rest. I rest and repair. And guess what? When I rest and repair, guess what it allows me not to do? Go find food at noon. I'm sleeping. I self-discipline that. I self-discipline that.
There we go.
So it's like when I wake up, it's like, oh, I got one more session and I'm about to get busy on some food. But I already did the whole day. I feel great. I've already did all that. And people are waking up, they barely just work still. They barely just, it's like, whoa, I just had a whole day. Like a full day. Like I edited my videos. I put a viral video. I wrote 40 companies. Like I just did a whole full day in that hours. And I have a whole another day. So most people don't live like that, but that's how I'm able to do that. I have 2 a days every day, which is crazy to think about, but that's why I nap. That nap breaks my first day. And I'm like, rest, repair what I did. I can process or whatever. Now when I wake up, that day's over with. We're on to the next day. That's why I packed a whole week early. I packed a whole week early. I'm like, I can't wait to go to New York. I'm like, wait, what's the date today? It's the 16th? Oh man, I packed a whole week early. Yes.
Like, I'm about to leave in a week.
My day also starts at 4 a.m., but being in school and
Yeah.
training, it won't end until like 11 p.m. So what do you suggest, or at least for me, to get like a better quality sleep since I can't sleep as much?
One, I'll definitely give you my sleep manual because there's being able to sleep when you sleep is important. The second part of this is remember, the only reason why you wouldn't nap or I wouldn't take a nap on that couch or something is because I would think somebody's judging me. Correct? You sleep when you need to sleep. When you're tired, you close your eyes. That's it. I don't give where I'm at. If I'm tired, I'm closing my eyes. Like I have that right. Like I'm a human being. You have the human being. You can close your eyes whenever you want. So like I would say you have to find the area and the break little piece that you're like, yo, I need a nap, a physical nap. Like go to your car, take a nap. Like you're the only one that can do that. So I would say you have to make time to say, listen, if sleep is the only thing that if you're like, oh, I should just get a little, you can find that time. I promise you. You can find it. There's some little tiny area that you can get a little power nap in. Doesn't have to be long, but anything other than nothing is something. So you know that little cat nap, 10 minutes in the car is like, ooh, I needed that. Anybody else?
One more.
Water's important. Your body's made of all water. You have to drink water. I'm sponsored by water, so I drink so much water, it's crazy. I haven't bought water in 3 years.
Wait.
I get 16 cases of water delivered every month. I get I have 1,000 sponsors. Everything I'm wearing is sponsored. But that's not the point. The point is because I worked hard though. I worked very hard. Listen, one of my quotes is, you be so selfless, you reap the benefits of being selfish. So if I told you just now I got 1,000 sponsors, you would think that it's because I'm selfish. I have done so much selfless things. I've given all my time and energy to these companies where they send it to me, so you would think it looks selfish. I just give up so much of my time, energy, and effort. So if you give more than you receive, that's the beauty of my life. Like I give more than I receive. Like I'm giving you all something right now. You haven't physically gave me anything but energy. Right? I'm giving you energy back. So this is what we're doing. We're exchanging, right? We're exchanging energy. I'm watching you guys dance and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to give you a little bit more energy. Like that's from my heart. Remember, time is not money. Time is life. You don't have enough money to pay me to speak to you. I tell you, my information is so valuable, you don't have enough money. Like, that's my quote. My information is so deep, your pockets aren't deep enough. You don't have deep enough pockets for me So if I either say, no, I'm not talking to y'all because I don't care, or I say, you know what, I care about human beings and I want to help you guys because, and Taylor cares, so now I really care about you guys. So that's the information I give you. It's not like I'm not getting paid. I'm doing this because I think it's valuable for you guys as dancers to do movement. Not just moves, but movement. So I appreciate you guys giving me the time for sure.
That's one thing. Do you think the concept of burnout or burning out is a mental construct, or do you think it's a very real thing?
I think it's a real thing. I think it's both.
Okay, praise God.
I do think it's both, but I do think that there's ways to lessen how bad that we do that, because we know as well as I know, if we have that one for extreme artists, it's usually an injury that stops us a little bit from like, or it's like an event that we have that we say, yo, we can't afford to get injured. Like I'm doing like this Tango Talento next month, #1 Spanish talent show in LA, and it's like I know that I gotta not be so much risky, right? Like for the burnout. So like instead of us burning out before an event, I think that's for us, we just have to, that's the only way for us as extreme artists is like injury, or like we get in a relationship or something that stops that little like direct non-stop, right? Like because we gotta live with that, man. Like imagine they don't have those issues. Most people don't have those issues as extreme artists. Because that's a weird issue to have. Would you rather be you trying to say, man, I need some motivation, or you're so motivated that you're like, damn, I need to find a way to just stop for 1 second?
Bro, it's like in my life.
That's 2 lines right there. That's two lines. Like, so if you guys are out there saying, oh man, like, I'm so exhausted, and it's like, you ain't doing nothing yet. We're over here that we're so freaking we're like, we gotta take one little tiny step back, which is impossible. And I'm just trying to get you guys to take one step forward. At your age, you all should be doing this. Now I'm already here. We're like, if we hear her do one more of these, we might hurt ourselves, right? We've already done those steps. That's why you're listening to me, is because I've already did these giant steps. And now it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you the information that you guys can take the giant steps. And eventually, you never know. Some of you guys might be up here. It just depends on who you are. It's all personal. Taylor's giving it to you guys though that you're all allowed to be a master. You're all making masterpieces of yourself. So it's how much you want to apply that. And what your perspective is I'm making it, or I'm not into this. Like, it's all personal. It's all personal. So I'm really glad that Gio's here, Travis, Taylor, they really care about you guys. You know, they're pouring a lot of, they're using their life. And in some cases, Taylor's using her money for you guys. So, you know, there's not a lot of people out there that are doing that. Definitely not. I appreciate her because I get kicked off at every stage. I appreciate this because this is my passion. I want to help people. I want to teach people what they're not being taught by doctors or therapists or trainers because they want your money. I don't want your money. I want you to be knowledge. I want you to have information. That's what I want. So I am going to get you guys, before you leave, I'm going to get you guys' emails down on a paper so I can send you guys my books. Yes. Because remember though, if you don't so the reason why I can send this to you is because if you don't apply it, it doesn't work. You don't get to look at me and say, oh my God, I got his books, I'm the balance guru. No, at all. Not at all. This is if you the ones that want to apply it, you'll be able to utilize the information. If you don't, then it doesn't matter. It's just a book. It goes to the wayside, and that's it. It's personal.
Let me write my info down first. You got that ready?
No, I'm gonna get that when you guys are done. Yeah, that's crazy, right? So make money is not how you live, right? Of course I make money, right? Like, but when people are like, what do you do for a living? I live life.
Ooh, let's have this conversation. Wait, let's have it. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I don't like I live my life, and then like so it's like once you already. So for like a young people, I would say residual income and passive income is huge, right? So like that's a way for you to keep your clock. And the reason why I'm allowed to take 2 naps a day is because I can turn my phone off and shut a clock off, and not a single person needs me. I'm not reliable. I create the reliability for myself. I'm not have a responsibility for a job or like something that's like some people can't turn their phone off because y'all are needed, or if your phone doesn't I got to the point where I figured out how to make where I have all my time. Because remember, you're your best intern. You don't get paid to be you. You're your best intern, which means if you wake up and you're not marketing and promoting yourself, you're losing out on yourself. No one's gonna wake up and say, I love you so much, I'm promoting you. Like, no, we're not born for that. Like, you have to find an agent or a marketer, but you can market every day for yourself. And I would say you don't think that you're not able to get sponsors already and market already. Like, that's a whole nother class. Like, Each and every one of you guys have profiles. Each and every one of you guys are dancers. You guys should be contacting every single one of these companies. You guys should be having knee sleeves. People who have knee problems, you have knee sleeves. Like, you get sponsors for all that stuff. Remember, your energy is important. You're a human being just like everybody else. You're not able to do something more than anybody else. It's how much you focus on it. The reason why people are good at football is because they focus on football. The reason why you're good at dance, you focus on dance. The reason why you're better than me at dance is because you focus more than dance than I have. I've accepted that. I know that. I understand that. So I have two options. Either jump in with you guys or understand that you guys are the dancers so I can listen from you guys. We're all different people. We all have individuality. So it's a beautiful thing, for sure. Joe's ready to dance. So I appreciate you guys.